My money, it's on Earnhardt.
Definitely going to be Mark Martin.
The word is that if one of these guys win Richmond today, he'll take it all. The $1 million Winston Cup Championship.
The following is a presentation of TBS Sports, exclusively on TBS.
The day is dead letter perfect for a race. There's a slight overcast, temperatures nibbling into the 70s, an easy breeze falling over this 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway, where every seat is sold out. Hello everyone, I'm Ken Squire, and welcome to the Richmond 400. 400 laps, 300 miles, $430,000 at stake for 36 Winston Cup competitors. What a story this race is. Remember a year ago at this time we were talking about the changing of the guard? It's become a revolving door. Take a look at this front row. Ernie Irvan in number 4. Who would have believed a year ago he'd be sitting in the pole for the third time, or for that matter, that Michael Waltrip would be on the outside of the front row for the first time in his career. And that new guard of a year ago, they're looking up from under that pair that will start this race. Now, working with me today, my colleagues are Johnny Hayes and the great Neil Bonnet, and I'm sure you're aware that John is never one to flavor anything vanilla and doesn't consider it particularly brain surgery out here. The Richmond Times-Dispatch this morning, and a lot of the fans coming we were talking to, say this is getting down to it, this race, that this is crunch time, John.
Well, the Crunch brothers are starting 6 and 7. Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin. They're fighting for $1 million Winston Cup championship. Dale Earnhardt, Darth Vader, the man in black. It scares you to hear his name. He's going to drive every single lap as hard as he can. He's going to try to go to the front. He's going to try to win every race. Mark Martin, different philosophy, good, strong, solid Ford team. He's going to drive the car, make sure that it's safe, take care of it all day, then he'll go for it at the end. I know I'm right, Neil. I got to be right this time.
John, you might have something going your direction, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of factors we got to look at. Here's a bunch of the guys, key teams on this circuit, well-financed, that haven't won this season. Not only is the points battle winding down, we're running out of races. These guys need to win. They have to win. And in turn, you got to chase the guys up front that are on a roll. Here's the 4-car with Ernie Irvan winning Bristol, and second at Darlington last week. And he can't do anything wrong right now. Here's Alan Kowicki, a guy that's had a bad season, couldn't get off to a good start, and now he's turned it around. He qualified 4th. There's a lot of those guys there can make a run at him. Also, we got the factor of Darrell Waltrip, been out for a long time. The fans want to see, can he go the distance? More so than that, they want to see if he can return to true form and be able to win races again.
Now, the focal point for our live coverage here on TBS on the pit road side will be from the STP Pit Center, and covering the story there is Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. Though every one of the 29 Winston Cup races pays the same points, this is considered the start of the stretch drive. Amplified so 2 years ago when an incident on the first lap, Rusty Wallace said that one incident alone cost him the championship. And that championship battle is a tight one. Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt just 26 points apart. Jeff Bodine still with an outside shot at it. There's defending champion Rusty Wallace. But some of the biggest shaking up has been in the second 6 back through 12th position. Here's Alan Kowicki up from 23rd at midseason. And here is the man who has had such a streak over the last couple of weeks, Ernie Irvan. A race win, and now this pole at Richmond. Let's meet him with the Dean of American Motorsports, Chris Economaki.
Okay, we're down here with Ernie Irvan, besieged by reporters, a man of the hour in American stock car racing. Ernie, not too many years ago, you had a racetrack which you were welding up seats. Now you've won a race, you're on the pole here. When you shave in the morning, what do you think about your career?
Well, I tell you, it's came a long way, Chris, and owe a lot of things to a lot of people, and appreciate everything everybody's done for me. Welded seats at Charlotte Motor Speedway about 4 years ago, and now racing there. So, it's amazing how fast things can happen, and I appreciate everything Kodak's done and all the Morgan McClure race team.
I saw you talking with your front row compatriot, Michael Waltrip, over there. What do you got cooked up for the start?
We didn't even talk about the start. We were kind of talking about chassis setups and that sort of thing. But, you know, Michael's one of my buddies, and we just need to get through this first lap. And each one of us is going to lead the first lap, and we'll go on and race 400 laps after that.
All the best. Have a good day. And now let's go to the STP Pit Control Center, my colleague Mike Joy.
Thank you, Chris. One name you'd expect to see at the front of this field and the point standings is that of Darrell Waltrip. But Darrell has not raced in 8 weeks, not since the crash at Daytona Beach, Florida, the second such devastating crash at Daytona of his career. Waltrip, taking the hit there, suffered a leg broken in several places. But the pain of sitting on the sidelines watching that car run without him in the seat has been greater than the pain in his broken leg. 2 weeks earlier than scheduled, he returns to action and now sits on the starting grid with our Chris McClure.
Mike, I don't think there is anybody here with more well-wishers or a wider smile this morning as he moved around the pit area getting ready to run. Darrell Waltrip, is it really comfortable? Has it been a comfortable situation the 2 days getting ready for this race?
It really has. The thing that I forgot was I had to qualify Friday. I spent most of the day just getting comfortable in the car, and then when qualifying came, we didn't qualify very well. But I just tell you right now, don't be surprised if this car don't make its way to the front, and we run pretty good today. I got Bobby Hamilton standing by for a relief driver if I need him, but I think with the weather the way it is, and that's the answer to prayers, I think I can go all the way. I'm excited about it, and I think adrenaline alone is going to get me a long way today.
Congratulations on getting back. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I want to thank all the fans for all their prayers and support. It's been really, really helpful.
Darrell Waltrip. We'll have more from Richmond in a moment.
Welcome back to Richmond and the STP Pit Center. Among the stories we'll follow today is the True Value Hard Charger Awards. Unlike the Winston Cup points, this one not even close. Earnhardt, the hardest charger this season, and we'll be looking for the Timex Speed Track fastest lap of the race. You've met the men that'll call the action from the booth and the three of us down along the pit lane, but there's one more voice yet to be heard. Covering this race from the other side of the fence, here's Mark Pfister.
Thank you, Mike. These fans have paid good money to see a great race, and they have come prepared. With me, a couple of guys who drove all the way down from Baltimore, Maryland to be at the race. It's Steve and it's Paul, and they are prepared for this race. They got their little tush-cush here, ball caps on, sunglasses, got the binoculars, and they came equipped with the stuff you definitely need. A couple of ice chest filled, I'm sure, sandwiches.
I don't think so.
Oh, no, the breakfast of champions, maybe. So I hope you guys have a safe ride home. Who are you pulling for this afternoon?
Oh, Mark Martin.
Bill Elliott.
Oh, Mark Martin.
Bill Elliott.
Mark Martin.
Bill Elliott.
Oh, what the hell? Let's go forward.
Mike, I think it's straight up a NASCAR Hornets. Bail me out of this one, pal.
Boy, it's going to be a long ride home in that car. Let's take a look at Mark Martin's season thus far. Martin owns 2 1990 victories, the controversial one here at Richmond in February, and then his win at Michigan Speedway in August in front of the Detroit crowd. But most telling among his stats, not the 12 top 5s or the 17 top 10s, but only one in the DNF column. He's had the point lead now for the last 10 races and comes in here. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
We're here with Mark Martin. Just started his engine. Mark, if I gave you a 3-part multiple choice question, which answer would you choose? Are you concerned about the race, the championship, or Dale Earnhardt?
All we're concerned with is winning a race. That's all we ever worry about. If we win races, the car runs good every week. We just go out and do our best job and see how that turns out.
You got all the Ford lovers rooting for you. All the best.
Thank you.
So Mark Martin is ready to roll as this field comes to life at Richmond Fairgrounds. Let's take a look at Dale Earnhardt's stats of the season. Earnhardt, 7 1990 victories. Nobody else on the circuit has more than 2. He started that tear at Atlanta and has run it right down through to the last race at Darlington, South Carolina. His season stats are much like Mark Martin's. 12 top 5, 16 top 10s, and only 1 DNF. There's a look at Earnhardt. Let's go.
The field moves out. Here is the starting lineup for the Richmond 400. On the pole with his Chevrolet, it's Ernie Irvan. Alongside is Michael Waltrip in his Pontiac. Going to row number 2, Ken Schrader's there with a Chevrolet. And Alan Kowicki qualifies a Ford in the 4th position. Starting 5th today will be Dick Trickle from Wisconsin. He'll be carrying one of our cameras. And Dale Earnhardt looking for win number 8, the 87 winner here. Row number 4 is Mark Martin seeking his 3rd win of the season. And the 88 champion on this event, Davey Allison. Row 5 is Kyle Petty in a Pontiac and Jeff Bodine in a Ford. For row number 6, it's the defending champion who won this race on a whisper of gasoline, Rusty Wallace, and Terry Labonte starts beside him. In row 7, it's Dale Jarrett in his Ford and Ricky Rudd of Chesapeake, Virginia. For row 8, Brett Bodine is there in a Buick, and Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia. In row 9, it's Sterling Marlin, Oldsmobile. Morgan Shepherd in a Ford. Row 10 is Rick Wilson and Derek Cope, the two-time winner this year. Going back to row number 11, there you have Chad Little and Harry Gant. Row 12, Dave Marcus, his 651st race, and Jimmy Means. Row 13 is Jimmy Spencer and the 7-time winner, Richard Petty. Row 14, the 4-time winner, Darrell Waltrip and Mickey Gibbs. In row 15, it's Greg Sachs and Bobby Hillen. Row 16 is Hut Strickland and Charging Charlie Glotzback's back. In the 17th row, Ron Esau is here and Butch Miller. Row 18, Robbie Moroso, the leading rookie, and D.K. Ulrich is back in harness this afternoon. That's the starting lineup. We're getting set for the green flag. The view from Robbie Moroso's car, number 20. He crashed the car he had prepared for this race, so he's in a backup car way in the back of the field in the Crown Igloo machine. Two other cars moving to the back as they get set for a start. Derek Cope and Greg Sachs, because they had to change equipment after crashing in either qualifying or practicing efforts up in turn 2. The field comes down. The green flag is out. We're underway live on TBS for 400 laps of the best auto racing in the world, Winston Cup.
Watch these first laps closely. And this is some of the most fun racing. Everybody's fighting for position because they know that leader's going to be coming around quick and try to lap you.
Down to the inside, the 66 car makes a quick move on the bottom of the racetrack, off his crutches and on the throttle. Dick Trickle at number 66 goes to 4th. Kulwicki falls to 5th.
Well, I tell you, these guys are really hustling at the start. The shuffle on the first few laps is going to determine where they get strung out. It's easy to make up a little bit of cars right now.
If tires are not a factor today, 120 to 130 laps is where we should see them come in on a green flag stop. Schrader in second spot making a move to go beneath. In third spot making a move on second place. Michael Waldron, there's your battle. It's for second, and here comes Trickle rolling. Back comes Kulwicki on the outside. Moving away, Ernie Irvin up in front of the Morgan McClure car.
Ken, you want to be in that bottom lane. You can see everybody battling to get to the bottom unless your car is really strong. There's Davey Allison trying to go on the outside around Dale Earnhardt. You can see him going there and trying to make a strong move, but Earnhardt pulled right back.
Dick Trickle, number 66, dives to the bottom of the racetrack, and he takes out Michael Waltrip, drops him back to 4th. Trickle now 3rd, and challenging the Kodiak car, Ken Schrader now in 2nd spot. Trickle on the charge in the early going. Here they come, down across the start-finish line, completing 4 laps.
I'll tell you, the outside of the track, if they can get to working out, there's a couple guys trying it out of shot here. These cars on the inside have certainly got the preferred spot. That outside can be workable.
Dick Trickle giving you these incredible pictures at Richmond on the 3/4 mile high bank as he stays 3rd on the race. Davey Allison continuing to move up in the 28. He is now into the 5th position. He started in 8th and the 88 winner of the event. And here on the inside, number 6, Martin working with Earnhardt. Battling for the championship, now battling wheel to wheel in the Richmond 400.
This is great. This early, you see that car kick out and push up, and he drives right under him. So I think Earnhardt has a little bit of handling problem in that turn.
Battle for 6th position. Falling back is Earnhardt, and it's Jeff Bodine, number 11 in the Junior Johnson car, down in the bottom, sticking that Ford in there.
They love to lean on each other, don't they, Neil?
Yeah, they've done it a little bit in the past, but I don't know if they're going to do it much of it. They've been reprimanded a time or two.
Talk about reprimands. We'll get back to that story with a $10,000 fine.
But you can see Dale's car shooting really high in some of those turns. I just don't think the car's working real good. It seems like it's a little loose.
Rusty Wallace is on the move as well. Started in 11th position. He's picked up 1 in that car, number 27. There's the number 11 car, last lap at an average speed of 116 miles per hour. The record for this race, 95.7. Davey Allison, 1988. Here you see Bodine in the 11, the 27 of Rusty Wallace, defending Winston Cup champion. Will not get a crack at it again this year unless those 2 leaders take themselves out and go in. Oh, we got a crash in the back straightaway. Wallace spinning. Earnhardt just getting through. Yellow is out. This is lap number 8.
You can see Rusty's car kick out a little bit, got a little bit loose right there. I don't know if he got in contact with the car. Maybe we'll have that so we can show it back. He's got it moving. He's not going to lose a lap.
Left front corner panel kicked in there.
Yeah, but on these little short tracks like this, I say short track, Richmond is a combination short track super speedway. The car can take a lick like that right there and really not damage a lot. Here they are going down the corner. Rusty just gets the car loose. He tried to get up under the 11 car, got a little bit sideways. The car came on around, and luckily he didn't get hit any more than he did with that many cars.
Great move by Kyle Petty. Felix Sabatos, number 42, made just the right maneuver. He had just enough room on the outside. You could see Brett Bodine's car as well coming up on the outside, and he really threaded the eye of the needle. Watch again.
You're right on the bottom of the racetrack. That bottom is where you want to be, but there's a little flat area there. You get off on that, the car comes around, the car loses bite. Looked like he turned down on the 11 and just got the car a little bit loose.
You also saw the 21 of Dale Jarrett up on the outside doing some nice driving. Here comes Wallace into pit. They had planned on 3 pit stops if it had stayed green and gone for a record today. Now we have this early go. Not much of a chance for fuel or anything here with only 10 laps down. Let's go to Chris McClure.
The Wallace car is in the pit, and there's damage to the left front, a little bit of damage to the tire, but right now they're not making a move to change that. They're trying to pull away some of the bodywork away from the tire. Doesn't seem to be anything else wrong with it. They have been able to clear that, and he's away. Got a little fuel while he's here.
There's 1 lap to go, so he's got to catch up with the field. He's going to be at the back, and Ernie Urban will really go hard to try to get him.
That was Harold Elliott looking at that left front. He's the engine man, and that oil cooler's in that area. That's the life and heart of that engine, so you can bet he wanted to make sure that was right before anything happened to the motor.
Field is back away under green. Working the 12th lap with Ernie Urban in the number 4 car in front. Schrader is in second, Trickle is third, Michael Waltrip fourth, Davey Allison in fifth, Alan Kowicki in sixth, Mark Martin in seventh.
Boy, it's hard to believe the strength Ernie's showing here early. He seems to be dredged out.
From the back of the pack, here's Rusty Wallace storming, trying to move through this field. The defending champion of this event and the Winston Cup champion moves up on Derek Cope on the outside.
I think the 33 car with Harry Gant just lost a motor going into turn 1 and 2. He's coming down the backstretch very slowly. The track is still green.
Ron Esau going under the gun of Rusty Wallace, and up in front, they're riding with Dick Trickle, currently in 3rd spot, closing back in on Schrader down the main straightaway.
As John said, they did lose an engine, looked like on the first turn. And going in that corner, it's awful tough for them drivers. Just wonder if there's oil there.
Critical turn is coming up right here, Neil. This is it.
This thing is a mile wide. You can put the cars in there 3 abreast or 4 abreast. The only thing 2 of you might make it through there, preferably 1. It's misleading how wide the track is getting that corner.
It is the most critical turn here, that turn 1. I'll show it to you again a few times during the race, but you've got to head it dead on right or you're in big trouble. That's where you gain time or lose time.
It is.
Getting into 1.
Not only you lose time, there's 4 cars sitting in the garage that are total wrecks from trying to do that corner like that.
Dick Trickle with the Trop Arctic car. There you see it, the number 66. Right there in 3rd. Irvin on the point, Schrader 2nd, Trickle 3rd, Michael Waltrip, who started outside of the front row, back and forth. Then 4 car lengths back to the 5th place machine. Davey Allison, followed by Kowicki in 6th, Mark Martin 7th. Jeff Bodine is in 8th, Ricky Rudd is in 9th, Earnhardt in 10th, Dale Jarrett 11th, Brett Bodine is 12th. This with 16 laps complete.
Harry Gant did pull his car in the garage area. They're loading up the pit, so I think Harry's through for the day.
Boy, that was a quick day for Harry Gant. Let's go to Dale Earnhardt's pits as we watch him here in car number 3, running in 9th position.
The children, Dale Earnhardt's car. Sure, it looks like Dale's car is not working too well from a handling standpoint. Is that right?
Yeah, we got a real bad push in it right now. You know, we thought the track might be a little looser, but we're going to adjust him when we make the first pit stop.
Are you going to wait that long if he keeps rolling back, or might you call him in early?
We're going to probably wait.
Okay, there you have it on strategy for Dale Earnhardt.
Okay, Ken, not only, he might be pushing a little bit, but the push goes away in these race cars. If you're loose, it gets worse. The push has a tendency to go away. They'll probably run the car several laps. It should get a little bit better.
See Brett Bodine getting beneath him. And look at this battle up in front. That's Brett Bodine on the charge, up to 10th position. Top 3 going down into turn number 1. Irvin, Schrader, Trickle. 1, 2, and 3. And already they're moving into lap traffic.
As Johnny mentioned earlier, it's easy early in the race to spot the guys doing what they need to do. Get these lead cars right on the bottom of the racetrack. They're like they need to be. The guys that are working outside, they got some work to do in those pits before they get it corrected.
The Rusty Wallace fans, he's picked up 10 spots in just a few laps, so Rusty's car is working fine.
There are now 20 laps complete of the 400 to be run live here on TBS from Richmond, and Ernie Irvan going for win number 2.
Welcome back to Richmond as we watch Dick Trickle close up on race leader Ernie Irvan, who set the Timex fastest lap of the race thus far, 22.93 seconds. Our speed track computes that to 117.7 miles per hour. Watching Bobby Hamilton in relief of Darrell Waltrip, doesn't even have his suit on, so Darrell feels pretty confident. And a new look in the Richard Childress pit today. Condolences to Danny Chocolate Myers, who lost his grandmother Friday. Danny Lawrence will fuel the Dale Earnhardt car today. Let's go back upstairs.
Darrell Waltrip's car is now in 22nd, and here is the battle for the lead. Irvan is there. The Modesto, California campaigner is being challenged by Dick Trickle in number 66 for first place. They're in turn 3, working lap number 28. And also into the picture comes Michael Waltrip on the outside. 3-car battle for the lead.
These are 3 very aggressive drivers, so this is a kind of situation that nobody's going to give, nobody's going to live, so watch this one closely.
It looked like Trickle's car, the way he was able to run Irvan down, is better, but you got the guy leading the race. He picks which part of the real estate he's going to use. It's going to be tough to get around.
From Dick Trickle's Crop Arctic camera, here they are back across the line. And look at this battle up in front as they work black traffic. Going down to turn number 1. Esau getting lapped into the outside. Goes car number 30, Michael Waltrip. Seems to have a little bit of ability on the outside to work. Meanwhile, bottom of the racetrack, Trickle. He may still be on crutches from that Watkins Glen, New York crash, but right now he is flawless. The car takes a little extra bite there in turn 4, goes for the lead and lost a little time. Irvan charges back on the outside.
When you go in a corner like that and Dick had to hold the car a little lower than normal, the back wants to kick out. But his car is so good right now, he can run that inside under him, not able to use the slide up off the corner.
The oldest rookie of the year in Winston Cup racing, Dick Trickle in car number 66, holds it on the bottom of the racetrack. On the outside is Ernie Irvan, and right there comes number car in the wall, number 57. And Jimmy Spencer's car off on the backside. Lap 31, second caution of the day. They're going to be racing back to the green. Continuing down for the green flag, they'll race all the way around back to the green for scoring as they come up to the line. As they come to the stripe, they backed out of the pedal and pole positions, leaving Irvan first, Trickle second, Waltrip third. There you see the 57, former modified champion, Jimmy Spencer, back underway after the car looped in the back straightaway coming out of that critical turn number 2. Tight getting into 1, then 2 is the one that collects them.
We've lost a lot of cars there all week long in practice, also in qualifying, and we haven't even seen the replay of this, but it's probably this very same situation Rusty got in. Off 2 over there, the car just gets tremendously loose.
And they're going to try to make a quick pit stop. They're on the verge of losing a lap if they can get this thing in and out of there, because otherwise they go down a lap.
Leaders all coming on pit road. This will put Kowicki into first position. Michael Waltrip, Dick Trickle, Ernie Irvan, Ken Schrader, Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd, Earnhardt, Wallace, all pitting. Leaving on the track in the first position, Kowicki, and going to second place is number 5, the Watkins Glen winner, Ricky Rudd.
Another key to this, sitting on the pole means more so than just starting the race here. As you notice these guys stopping, here's Ernie Irvan. And a little Waltrip park at the end of pit road. That's the preferred spot. That goes in qualifying order. You sit on a pole, but you also get the better of the pit stops.
Here's Schrader making a very good pit stop coming out, but up on the end of pit road, breaking away the 66 and the 4. They have their choice depending on how they qualify.
Yes, the champion, as you saw Rusty, was the lead car. He was sitting on the first pit. After qualifying, they pick him. If you'll go down through, it's almost exact order through there.
So, as matters stand, Alan Kowicki stands in first place, and he is not electing to pit as they come by again with Rudd in second, Jeff Bodine third. Back with you at Richmond, Virginia. 37 laps are complete. Here's the battle for first place. Alan Kowicki is there. Ricky Rudd is in second. Mark Martin comes to third. Jeff Bodine is in fourth. Bill Elliott in fifth. Brett Bodine in sixth. Terry Labonte in seventh. And eighth is Darrell Waltrip. Ninth is Rusty Wallace. 10th is Schrader. And back in 11th is Ernie Irvan. As races as they come out. And here's number 98, the Travis Carter car being driven by Butch Miller, which just spun up here in turn number 2. A battle for the lead, strong at the start-finish line. Down to the inside, Ricky Rudd trying to get that second win of the season. Back comes Kowicki on the outside. 5 car is Rudd, the 7 Kowicki. Chevrolet on the inside, Ford on the outside. Richard Petty's number 43 now pitting as we continue to watch this battle for first, and Mark Martin gets into it. It's wheel to wheel on the 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway.
It just doesn't get any better than that, and these cars are racing so close. See, they pull apart, but then they dive in that corner. Watch how close they come. They almost touch every time. You have to be careful. See the rear end of that car kick out? You drop back.
If they do touch, usually it's the guy on the outside moving over. The guy on the inside is doing all he can do. You just lean that car over until you touch the left side of the car and try to slide through there together. It's hard to do.
Interval of 10 car lengths back to 4th place. Number 11 Bodine, and right on his rear bumper is Bill Elliott in the 9. Following him is Brett Bodine in the 26 and 6. Taking a peek at the inside, Richard Petty, as you can see, is back on the track after a quick pit stop. Here are those 3 leaders out of 4 with Alan Kowicki setting the pace in car number 7.
Don't be misled. Think the things are getting strung out. There's a big pack of cars coming behind these guys. They're going to really catch up in a hurry.
Well, Rusty Wallace is aggressively going to the front, and he's right behind this group. He will be in our picture shortly.
The guys that stopped for tires got behind on track position, but now they're really moving up.
There you see Ernie Irvan also coming back into the fray. He is now up to 9th. Just in front of him is Brett Bodine.
We'll see here, Ken, just how important track position is. Of the cars that pitted, Ernie Irvan went in first, came out second. Mike Waltrip came in third and went out fourth. You don't see Dick Trickle. He was running second at the time of the caution, but he was the 11th car out of the pits. And now he's mired deep in the pack as Irvan works his way back up toward the front.
Remember, Ernie Irvan is your 9th place car. Darrell Waltrip right behind him. Here's Irvan challenging Ken Schrader. Just in front of them, Rusty Wallace, as I mentioned, was on the charge, picking up traffic. He has fallen back a spot now. Wallace getting collected. He's on the outside of the Bill Elliott-Schrader combination. Swapping paint, swapping positions out here with 45 of 400 laps complete.
Ken, several of those cars did not pit. That's how those cars stayed up front. What's happened in creating these log jams is these good cars are coming up from the back with new rubber, ready to go, and it's causing a log jam and having to force their way through there.
Let's check on Jimmy Spencer. Chris Economaki is there.
Oh, you see there's 8 men working on the front of Jimmy Spencer's car after this little episode. They want to get him back on the track as soon as possible. It's an important race for Jimmy Spencer. It's toward the end of the season, and here he is already being interviewed by Motor Racing Network. We're going to get a word with Jimmy here about what this means to him so late in the season. Jimmy, it's a tough break so late in the season. Might this affect what you do next year?
Oh, Chris, I don't think this is going to affect what happens to me next year. You know, this Heinz Pontiac's been running real good all year long, and you know, there's probably going to be a driver change here next year. I'm going to move to another team, and it's just a situation that is already done, and you know, we just didn't need this to happen today. We're trying to move back up to the top 20 in points, and we're going to go back out there and race.
Good luck to you.
Watching this fight for 4th position. That is number 27, Wallace on the inside. Giving that Pontiac all it can handle. And on the outside, Jeff Bodine. Meanwhile, up in front, Kowicki. Winner of 1 race in his Winston Cup career. Look at this slugfest continuing back there. Wallace on the inside, Schrader in the middle, Jeff Bodine on the outside. As Wallace noses his way into the bottom of the racetrack, the defending champion going for 4th place. Back comes Schrader on the outside.
Looks like he got tired of the log jam, decided to open it up a little bit.
There is only 2 laps to go, right, in the race? Isn't that the deal?
Maybe 2 hours.
How about 450? We're at the 50-lap mark.
Let's go for it, boys.
Alan Kowicki stays first. Ricky Rudd in second. Mark Martin third. That trio has pulled away by 25 car lengths from Schrader. There's the trio that's out in front. Correction. There are the cars currently running back in 4th, 5th, and 6th. That is Schrader, Wallace, Irvan. Right behind Irvan is Jeff Bodine in the 7th spot with Bill Elliott in 8th, Michael Waltrip in 9th, Dale Earnhardt coming by in 10th, and in 11th position is Brett Bodine. Here's the Earnhardt car, number 3. He's running in 10th position. Brett Bodine in the 11th. Darrell Waltrip storming back up into this race, broken leg and all.
We had a big change in track conditions since the first race. It was really overcast. The sun's out right now. We'll see if the track starts loosening up. If it does, you can see possibly a little change in the characters up front.
Here's Waltrip in the 17 car making his move down to the bottom, trying to move under Brett Bodine, beginning to fight for 12th position. And here comes Waltrip picking up one. Kyle Petty trying the outside.
That doesn't look like a man with one leg, does it? I mean, he's doing an awesome job.
Johnny just pedaled real hard with that one leg he's got.
Kyle Petty working on the outside of Brett Bodine.
It's got to feel good for Darrell. I know how he feels sitting out for a while. If you get back in the car, it's got to be a good feeling for him.
Kyle Petty up to 13th position. Let's go back with the leaders, and here you see it, lap number 54. Alan Kowicki working for that second win, qualified 4th in this event.
If you'll notice right here, Alan's running a little higher line than any car on the racetrack. He's all the way out on the outside, about a car length wider than anyone else, and it's working for him.
Alan Kowicki, who has really turned his season around, 23rd up to 11th in points, second at Daytona back in July, and running a very strong, steady race at the present time here at Richmond in our TBS coverage. We've had a driver change further back in the field. Harry Gant is now subbing for Hut Strickland in Bobby Allison's car, number 12.
Yeah, before the race started, they said Hut was sick of his stomach, and they were going to see if anybody fell out early, they'd try to put him in the car. Hopefully it's nothing bad, but Harry will sure give that thing a good ride.
Leader continues to be Alan Kowicki in car number 7. There you see he's drawing away a bit from second and third. Alan, what are your expectations for this race?
You know, the car's run well since we unloaded it, and I think we've improved it a little bit. Came close to getting the pole, and I think we're close to a win. Hopefully it's going to be here at Richmond.
Looks like he's right on track at the present time. He's out in front, but there is a long way to go here on TBS this afternoon in our live coverage from Richmond. He has the dominating car in the early going by 10 car lengths over Martin in second, and by manufacturers, here's how it shapes up. Watch them into the back straightaway. We have Ford running first and second, Chevrolet in third, Schrader's Chevrolet in fourth, and it's the Pontiac of Rusty Wallace in fifth. Bernie Urban Chevrolet is in sixth, and another Ford in seventh, Jeff Levine.
Well, I tell you, Alan and his crew have really worked hard this year. They got off to a miserable start. They couldn't do anything right. And the last few races, he's been on the verge of cutting loose and winning, so he's got a long way to go, but he certainly looks good now.
And independent, runs his own team, formed it back in 1985, and has struggled with it. And he's having problems this year as he may be losing a sponsor.
One of the few men alive that was strong enough and had enough confidence in himself to turn Junior Johnson down for a big league ride. So Alan, he's sticking with it, and it's paying off.
Meanwhile, from the back of the field, Robbie Moroso, who started in the very last row, continues his work through the field as he tries to get back in this, currently in 22nd position. Earlier this week, Colonel F. Dwayne Gillis of the U.S. Air Force Reserve presented Steve Neal and Robert Pemberton of Roush Racing with the U.S. Air Force Commander's Performance Award.
It is my pleasure to present the Air Force Reserve Commander's Performance Award to the Roush Racing team. The team manager, Mr. Steve Neal, the team crew chief, Mr. Robin Pemberton. The crew is only 3 years old and already are leading #1 in NASCAR racing points for the year. For your outstanding performance and excellent managerial tasks, I'm pleased to present you this beautiful Golden Falcon.
Well, thank you very much, sir. This is quite an honor for all of us at Roush Racing.
Be a bigger honor, perhaps, if they can win this race, get themselves an edge up, and that's what they're trying to do right now. Closing ground is Robin Pemberton, and Steve Neal's automobile number 6. Mark Martin doing a for an incredible job out here as he winds his way around this 3/4 mile track and stays within 3 car lengths of leader Alan Kowicki.
It's critical also that the 6-car leader lap. Mark Martin needs to lead because of the points. And about 2 laps before, he just made a real kamikaze effort off the 3rd and 4th turn to get around the 7 car and couldn't do it. So he's making real efforts to get up front.
Further back in the field, behind this pair that runs up here again is Martin making an effort. Schrader staying in the 4th position. He runs 3rd. 5th is Rusty Wallace. 6th is Ernie Irvin, and 7th Shepard. Look back here is car number 17. Waltrip goes wheel to wheel with Bodine. That's Darrell Waltrip moving into 9th position, and here comes Earnhardt into it. Earnhardt running 11th. 10th there is the number 11 car, Jeff Bodine. Currently 9th, Darrell Waltrip.
We just had a report that the 11 car said he's losing some tires. I don't know if he's wearing tires real bad or if he has a tire problem, but he had a report that he has trouble with the tires.
Darrell Waltrip, how are you going to run this race in number 17?
Because if I can't make it, I want to at least be looking good while I'm out there. And if I can make it, well, that's how you win the race. So I didn't come to play. I came to race.
Changed your attitude at all, Darrell? I mean, you've always had a winning attitude, but what about your attitude now? Has it changed?
Well, one thing I discovered, I've been doing this for 20 years now, probably become a little complacent about everything and kind of get in a rut where you go the same race, do the same thing every year, stay in the same hotel, eat the same food, see the same people. And I kind of always thought I was getting tired of that until I didn't see them anymore. And I can tell you right now, I couldn't wait to get back here and get back in my race car and get back out there and trade a little paint and have a little bit of fun. It's been boring sitting at home, and I'm ready to go racing, and I think I've really got a new vengeance that I never had before.
He's ready to trade a little paint right now with his taller, younger brother. There's Michael Waltrip in the number 30, just in front of Darrell, and the contest will be for 8th position here with 74 laps down. Reeling him in.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to look good, and he certainly looks good. He's got that car running. I'm sure if the thing quit right now, Darrell will be happy, you know, to get in the car after that long a layoff and be competitive and have that good feel that goes with it. I'm sure he's tickled to death with it.
Started 27th and currently is ready to contest the 8th position. Number 17, Darrell Waltrip, closing up on brother Michael.
Don't you know Michael just loves being in front of big brother Darrell, though? This has got to be a rush for Mikey.
John, you don't think Darrell's ever shoved little Mikey around, do you?
Back up in front, here's Martin going for the lead and getting it. Getting those 5 points if he stays there coming by. Mark Martin in number 6, now the leader, as Fords continue to hold 1st and 2nd, but note that Martin's car is just a little squirrely out of that corner. So Mark Martin puts down a lap. Gets those 5 bonus points for leading in Winston Cup competition. Came in here with a 26-point advantage over Dale Earnhardt. Now stretches it to 31.
Alan Kowicki just radioed his crew chief and said the car was getting loose, so I'm sure he felt like, let's don't race it too hard, let him cool his tires down, and wait till we can get in and get some new rubber.
John, I'm sure if he'd never led a lap, he might not listen to him, but he knows that thing's good enough. And right now he can back the pace down a little bit and save the car and be good until they get in and get some work on it.
Here's Martin dropping to the inside. And coming back is number 7 for the lead another time.
There could be a very good instance of him wanting to lead the race for the points. As Johnny Hayes mentioned earlier, Mark is concerned about that points battle. He led it. It looked like he moved over and let Allen take the lead again.
He obviously just pulled down, and I'm sure he waved him by. He did that at Darlington several times. It worked out for him. He had a real good finish there.
That's a nice feeling when you got a car you can just jump out front and say, I'll lead the lap. See, let me move back in.
I'm sure you had a bunch of those, right?
Yeah, I did. When I did, I sure took advantage of it.
Story of the race through 80 laps. 3 lane changes among 3 drivers, and there you have the battle that's developing for 3rd spot. Schrader in the number 25, followed by Ricky Rudd. And right behind them comes the number 27 of Rusty Wallace, holding 5th. Turn 4, down to the inside comes Rudd.
Yeah, they've been running that line the same, and they're pretty well sorted out. It's going to take one car going a little bit or one getting a little bit better for them to be able to pass. They're pretty well sorted out in that order right now.
Number 25, Schrader, going to third. Staying there, number 5, Rudd, followed by Wallace. You see Jimmy Means attached on the back end. Change of positions here. Number 17 moving up. It is Darrell Waltrip now by number 30. Takes over in 8th, going back to 9th is Michael Waltrip. Dick Trickle has come to 10th in car number 66 as he's worked his way back after a pit stop.
That's a great showing for Trickle because he was all the way to the back and has worked his way back up. The car is working well.
Boy, I tell you, that work in the pits is so critical nowadays. You can make some of your better passes on just sitting on that jack stand. If they get you in and out of those pits, get around some cars, and when you lose like he did, it's hard to make it back up.
Jimmy Spencer has come back into the race, number 57, with a front end badly bruised on his machine. Spencer in the Heinz 57 Pontiac, the Osterlund car, is back on the track. Here you see Mike Waltrip, who started outside of the front row. Losing ground was brother Darrell, as Darrell goes looking for 7th place. That's Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah, there's a gap following on Mikey there. I don't think Mikey slowed down. I think Darrell's really running that well because he's closing in on Morgan Shepherd in front of him.
Has about 25, 30 car lengths to make up.
I'm in total disbelief with Darrell because he really barely can walk, and he was having to be helped around in golf carts and with the crutches. Boy, is he doing a job in that car.
Leaders, Kowicki in 7, Martin in 6, running 1st and 2nd here this afternoon. We now have completed 86 of the 400 laps. Jimmy Spencer has pitted once again in his efforts today. Here are your 2 leaders, working through traffic easily. Kowicki out in front. Alan Kowicki trying to break into the top 10 in the Winston Cup standings, and he can take a big move in that direction with what he's doing right now.
Again, these cars coming through turn 4 look like they're on ice skates. These cars are really getting loose, and the people that are hooked up are going to lap a bunch of cars because everybody's coming through there gingerly. They need a caution to get some new rubber on.
Yeah, John, along with that is the overcast condition. They practiced all day yesterday in overcast. We dealt with overcast the first race, and the sun broke into it a little bit, so the thing's going to go and come. As these clouds move in and out, the cars are going to change. So who's got the best car at that particular time.
See Dave Marcus in his 651st start, and he's on crutches too. There's quite a group down there, bruised and battered from the season. Number 71, losing the lap to those leaders. Give Dave Marcus a lot of credit for determination, Neil. He just keeps trying.
Yeah, you know, a lot of publicity goes to the real big names in the sport when they get hurt and everything. Marcus is hurt also, and he keeps plugging away, and he's driving that car every week. Gets in that thing, and not only that, he's working on himself. He has to keep his own cars up.
Here's the 7 car out in front now by 4 car lengths as Alan Kowicki is pulling away a bit from the field, Mike Joy.
And Ken, you might think this is a whole different team than it was at mid-standing, but Alan Kowicki has come up through the pack in the point standings without any personnel changing. Look at Pocono, where he was 23rd and climbs his way up to the points to 11th after Darlington going into this race. It's almost certain Xerox won't be the major sponsor on his car since they came into racing. The cost of sponsoring a car has increased tenfold. The price of antifreeze has not. And Kowicki right now is under a lot of pressure from several sources to drive somebody else's car next year, much as he was at this point last season. But he's trying to give it a good ride here today and break that top 10. The way he's running right now, he's leading our True Value Hard Charger points.
And he gave it such a great ride at Darlington in his last outing. He looked so strong there with 3rd place finally credited to that car number 7. And here he is just putting a lap on Sterling Marlin, who will be changing teams perhaps. The story was that Sterling Marlin, that 94 car that's being lapped by Mark Martin, was all set. 2nd team for Junior Johnson. I hear last night some rumors that may not be the case. John, what do you hear?
Well, I heard the same thing, that there's some mitigating circumstances between sponsors, so I think they're just going to have to wait and see if they can work all that stuff out. I believe they will come together.
But one thing is fact, that you're Terry Labonte, related to you over the years, is going back home. He's going back with the guy with whom he won the '84 championship, with Billy Hagan.
And I think that was the key in his decision. He always felt like that was home. He always liked working with those people, and he's excited to be back with Billy Hagan.
So what happens to the Jackson brothers?
Well, at this time, they're just evaluating their options. They certainly want to continue, and it's just evaluating the drivers that are available.
94 laps complete here as we watch Kowicki and Martin up in front. Let me ask you one more question about that. What would be the potential for the Jackson brothers bringing out a Grand National car? I know how much they like Herb here. They took him up to Watkins when he gave him a good run there to run that. There's so many sports car drivers that want to get into this thing. Would they go with a guy like that?
I think that's one of their options, where they could run him in a sportsman car and then they run him in the 5 Winston Cup races and keep his eligibility for Rookie of the Year. I think Rick Mast is an option. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, Rick Mast is a tremendous option. We saw him again put on a tremendous race here yesterday. We'll have more on that in our video updates as the day continues live from Richmond here on TBS.
See Kowicki coming up right now to put a lap on Terry Labonte, and the cars are racing very close, but Allen's so strong he should be able to drive by, but he's right on the rear end of Butch Miller, and he's got to get by Butch Miller before he can get to Terry Labonte.
Butch Miller in the 98, then Terry Labonte in the number 1. Mark Martin in the number 6 stays right there in second place. Mark, what's the most important part of your car when you come to this racetrack?
Well, handling is certainly the most important thing. It's become the most important thing almost everywhere we go because everybody has, such a good level of equipment now that everybody's about on the same level, and about the only edge that you can get is in the handling.
Driving it well, Martin, the Arkansas driver, just smooth, got those 5 points, then came back, willing to wait this race out with now 97 laps complete. Quarter distance within 3.
When you come up on this lap traffic like Allen is doing right now, you'll see him, he's outrunning the leaders, but every car you come to is going to run the hardest lap of the race because that particular car, the drivers are being told you're fixing to be lapped, try to pick up the pace. So each guy that he comes to is really putting out an effort not to go a lap down. In turn, it makes it that much harder for the leader to get around him. So he's got his work cut out for him.
Makes it an easy day so far for Mark Martin. I like this strategy. I saw him wave Kowicki past earlier, and Martin can let Kowicki bust through traffic and then pick and choose his spots and ease on around. Right now, though, he has his hands full.
Yeah, Ken Schrader just went around Mark. Mark's turning in the pits, and this is way early for a pit stop.
Mark Martin on pit road in car number 6. Unscheduled stop at lap number 100. The Batesville, Arkansas campaigner pulling down pit road. What's the story here?
I don't know if it had anything to do with Mark, but I saw a big chunk of rubber fly up on the front straightaway just prior to him coming in. Might have been off one of his tires.
Mark Martin, 4th here in 88, his best effort in this race. It was a tire problem. He's back underway. Here you see the time for a very quick stop to change some rubber and get him back underway. As he gets back on the track, he is going a lap down to car number 7, Kowicki, and you see Schrader in the 25 pulling right up there.
Schrader's right up there with him and able to make a move on the outside.
Schrader going for first place as they come into the main straightaway.
Kowicki gave him all the room in the world to get by there, so I think Allen said, my tires are a little soft, let's not contest this.
Ricky Rudd now making a pit stop. The car number 5 that had been 3rd is now on pit road. Revolution's on. Schrader takes over out in front.
A lot of times when one of those leaders stop, it forces every other leader to stop and change tires.
Yeah, we were speculating how long they could go. We're looking at 102 laps. These cars could go further, but usually the first time they pit, they'll pit a little early to make sure they can read their mileage right. After this stop, they'll know exactly how far they go on the next stop. First one is just strictly speculation, how many miles a gallon you get.
Now, because one comes in, does that draw the rest of the field in?
What happens is whenever the 6 cars stop, when Mark Martin stops, put new tires on, when he goes back out, he's going to probably be 3/10 of a second, a lap quicker. If you stay out there on old tires, he gets so far ahead, even when you get the new ones, you can't make it back up. Track positioning is tough.
And late in the race, coming in and making a 4-tire change is sometimes a key to victory.
A lot of times, and we'll also learn sometimes 2 on the left will beat 2 on the right. So they're going to play with that all day, and they'll know at the end of the race which way to go.
105 laps are complete. Schrader is now the leader. Wallace has come back to second. Ernie Irvin is 3rd here at Richmond in the 400. Live here on TBS from Richmond International Raceway, where we have a dandy battle developing. Ken Schrader is currently in the lead. Rusty Wallace is in second. Ernie Irvin is 3rd. Maintaining fourth is Morgan Shepherd. You see the number 6 car trying to get a lap back and be with those leaders again after they've been making a stop under green to take on rubber. In the 5th spot is Dale Earnhardt. 6th is Michael Waltrip. 7th is Trickle. Coming by us in 8th. These are all in the same lap. Bill Elliott, followed by Rick Wilson, 9th, and Dale Jarrett comes up into the 10th position. Top 10, 112 now on the board. Now, one of the things that this crew gets a lot of satisfaction and a great deal of knowledge from are those moments when Chris Economaki gets up on his soapbox and gives us his comments, his views and opinions on what's going on. So I think it's a generally known fact along Race Row that he has a birthday coming up this week, and we have a birthday present for him that should get us some good stuff from ye old editor. Christopher?
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. You wouldn't think that the middle of a race like this puts that down, my dear. The place to talk about the issues that face the sport. But I'm going to address them before the race is out. And my dear, don't go away. I'm going to need you. We'll talk to you a little bit later on when I have something to say.
There is the official soapbox, his birthday present, which he'll be delivering commentary now and again. Then you'll know when it's a commentary, John. You'll see him on the box, and there won't be any question that there's any editorial opinion there. That's a straight commentary. The rest of it's all direct news. You know.
There's no outside chance that we could put him in that box, is there?
Well, birthday coming up in a week for one of the best.
Felix Abatis' birthday. Kyle Petty's car owner. Felix is 48 years old today. And I think that's each year for every 10 million he has. I think he has 480 million. So I think Felix will be okay.
Felix is trying to make a small fortune in racing by starting out with a big one, so it helps.
Yeah, he's lost a little money in this sport, but he's having a good time.
Now here is Bobby Hillen moving around on straight in the 25. And Mark Martin still behind that number 6 car, getting down there this time and make up that lap.
It shows you how good the 25 car is working, though, because he does have fresher tires, doesn't he, Neil?
The 6 cars on new tires. Schrader hasn't pitted yet, and they're getting tremendous mileage looking at the board at 117 laps. But I'm telling you, like you were saying, that 25 to hold him off, and Mark have probably 80 lap fresher tires. He's doing a great job.
I don't believe that Mark Martin wants to use up much of that car. He's willing to play a waiting game here. Knows there's a long time to go, 118 laps. I think it gets back to what John says about style and strategy between Earnhardt and Martin. Martin will always wait. Earnhardt will always go.
The only thing you got to be careful right here is you might get bit. The caution should come out. He's a lap down. So if the door is open any, I'm sure he don't want to abuse his car, but the only chance of this, you could get caught with that caution flag.
Jeff Bodine jumping in right under him in the number 11 car, driving right by with new tires. I think Mark may have used some of his tires up getting back to the front, so he may be back to an equal level.
We've had 4 lead changes among 4 drivers. There have been only 2 cautions if you're just joining us. The 27 car, Wallace spinning early, did not lose a lap. He stayed in it. And 57, Jimmy Spencer, had a more serious problem in the back straightaway. He's tried to come out, make a run here, and had to go back in a couple of times. We're now with the car of Dick Trickle. Had a good run, rather with Robbie Moroso. Robbie Moroso's Crown Igloo car. Crown Petroleum car number 20. Moroso, the leading rookie candidate, he came in on a provisional, and Jack Pennington, the other rookie, failed to qualify for this race.
Looks like the 10 car, Derek Cope blew an engine going in the first turn.
Caution is out, so they need to race back to that flag, get that lap back.
Here's Schrader going to lead the 6 car back, and if he does, he's going to have him a lap down.
There's the number 10 car of Cope. Won at Dover and won the Daytona 500 to initiate the season. And his engine has expired in the Whitcomb car.
Derek Cope has had a great year, though. They've achieved things that nobody thought was possible.
Well, I tell you, that thing we're showing, that right there is critical. There's Schrader, who has run 122 laps and not pitted, and he's got the 6 car lap down. Mark was, they were probably 2 or 3 laps away from Schrader having to come in.
Under caution. 3rd time today. Yellow comes out at lap 123, and the entire front of the field all flushes down onto pit road here. everybody in with the exception of one car. Number 56, Ron Esau, stays behind the pace car, and Richard Petty now stays down. Majority of the machines all on pit road. What a break for Schrader. As we watch them on pit road, let's talk about the pits for just a moment. How critical this is.
Well, positioning on the pits and also entry and exit of the pits. There's a few little tricks of the game, coming down pit road. Hold these guys, but here's Schrader getting out. Good 4-tire stop for him, 21.2. But this pit road, I'm telling you, when you can do something on pit road, setting still to pass 6 or 7 cars, where you got to fight them all day to get 1 or 2 on the racetrack, that's the place to do it. There's a lot of things blocking these guys around pits and everything that enters into it.
Tell them the little trick that y'all used to use when you'd come down and you'd hit your brakes or something.
Oh, you would do short brake out here on pit road?
I've heard some of the drivers would do that.
Oh, yeah.
The drivers, what they do is, fans, is come down pit road, right as they got it at the entranceway, jam on their brakes, make the other competitors hit their brakes, and they hit the gas, run down to their pits, and they pick up about 9 spots on a racetrack. Good, clean, all-American racing.
Well, you got to remember, these things travel close to a football field a second, and every second you contain that guy, you're way ahead of him. And I wouldn't do it unless they did it to me.
Right.
And they did it to you.
I don't know. I remember doing it a couple of times.
See, amnesia setting in. Isn't it amazing what he can remember and what he forgets?
If racers say you have my word on it, trust me.
After my father Economaki wants to get on his soapbox. All right.
All right, and I'm on my soapbox. Seriously, we just saw that yellow flag pit stop with so many men working on so many cars. I feel that the NASCAR regulations allow too many men over the pit wall. It's too crowded. It's probably safer at the wheel of one of these racing cars than it is in the pits. There have been several pit accidents so far this year. I think the number of pit men allowed over the wall should be reduced to about 4. It would probably double the length of a pit stop. But think of the economic value. It costs sometimes $1,000 a man to bring someone to the races. That would be a saving of $4,000 or $5,000 per car per race. A remarkable saving. And that's what I think about the pits today. They're too crowded and too dangerous. All right, my dear, don't get away from me. I need you.
Yes, I can understand.
What's your reaction to that, Neil?
Well, Ken, I've always thought, I know I wouldn't work on pit road. When I got out of a race car and not driving them right now, you couldn't get me on pit road because it is dangerous. And the number of people there, and I wouldn't hesitate to suggest maybe air jacks. We see it in the Indy cars. A man standing right by the pit wall, plug the jack in. The most dangerous job out there is a guy running around with that heavy jack in his hand, running around the outside of the car. He's the further outmost guy on pit road, and a lot of those guys get clipped. So there's the doors opening. I'm sure NASCAR is willing to look at that also.
I think what gets overlooked is that the racetrack is controlled and policed, and really the pits aren't.
Yeah, and NASCAR can only do so much on that. They only have X number of people on pit road, and they just can't control race car drivers coming down there.
You've got 36 cars out here in this 3/4-mile track. It's a tough job.
Well, the inspectors do a great job on pit road, but you're talking about mass total confusion coming down pit road. You know, as you turn down pit road, everybody's got one of those boards stuck out there, sign. Next guy gets a bigger one, the next one gets a bigger one. You can't even see coming down pit road, and you're supposed to come in there at 100 miles an hour and park in a 22-foot length area, and it's hard to do.
And there is that business of the psyching of trying to pick up positions and brushback. I mean, let's talk about brushback. You think about it in baseball, where the pitcher throws and tries to brush back the batter, and it really happens out here too.
Yeah, on a regular basis. My son's a stop sign man for Harry Gann, and he says the scariest part is when they cut in real close to you to try to push you in, but also keep close enough so the jack man can't get around the car. If he can't get around the car, you just beat him out.
Yeah, and pit road, if you'll watch as these cars leave pit road, there's a little bit of overflow of fuel, which we're doing everything we can to control that. There's a little bit of overflow. Pit road is slick. That little bit of fuel on there, you come in, you're planning on stopping, you lock the left side wheels hit the fuel first. You lock it up, the car jacks around sideways. So it's real dangerous pit road, and it's amazing to me they pull it off as well as they do.
Perhaps we can get back to the story again before we've completed the 400 laps here today. 127R down, and the green is about to be unfurled. Light is off on the pace car. It's coming in with Wallace now the leader, Schrader in second, Morgan Shepherd in third, Ernie Irvan is fourth, Dale Earnhardt is fifth, Michael Waltrip sixth.
And the key, there's the 7-car Kawicki in the 6th, a lap down. Schrader's long run on fuel, but several of the top cars laps down.
Boy, Rusty Wallace got a jump. unreal and just pulled around everybody. So it's going to be hard for these guys to get their lap back. Because Rusty seems to be hooked up to me.
You see, here's Schrader, who was leading previously. He's second, but the 27 is able to maintain those guys a lap down. We're going to see these guys hustling to get back in the lead lap. Mark Martin and some of those guys might not want to run the car earlier. They don't have any choice now.
We do have a 2-lane racetrack now. You can see everybody going in double side by side now, where before it was a single lane, but they are not afraid to try it at the top.
To Chris McClure on pit road.
Rusty Wallace out there walking the point right now. Earlier in the race, if we can take you back a while, he came in with the damage to the left front. They just pulled back the bodywork and did not change tires. This is the tire right here, and you can see there might have been some risk involved, but it went 120 laps before they came back in and changed it. But it does have a little bit more buildup in terms of the hot rubber on it. I wonder, John Dodson, if that might be a problem.
Well, it has a little buildup, but our tires were spotted from when we spin up a while ago, so we couldn't get the left side tires off. Now that we got a fresh set of tires on there, we should be okay. We had a little bit of flat spot in that first set. I think we'll be okay now.
So far, they are okay.
Defending Winston Cup champion, defending Richmond 400 champion, Rusty Wallace, who won this race a year ago and ran out of fuel on the white flag lap. Berkman across the finish line is in first place, and he's trying to keep number 6 a lap down. Mark Martin's fourth beneath that Pontiac, number 27, nose to nose in lap 132.
Alan Kowicki's not far behind him. He just drove it out of 4 sideways and never lifted. It looked like it was a dirt track and didn't lose the spot. So these guys are going hard.
Don't you love this track, Neil? I mean, I know as a racer, every track is fun, but to watch them on this track is a real thrill.
You got to keep in mind here, this track was built as an improvement over a previous racetrack. They took a lot of things into consideration. This is one of the latest built racetracks on the circuit, and they've incorporated what these particular cars need. And it's big and wide. You can stick them out there in 3-4 wide abreast, but you better be ready to get in that corner. You got 2 lanes, and it narrows up in a hurry.
Ken, there was a friend of mine leading this race one time and stuck his car in a guardrail off the backstretch there, and the car stopped immediately. That's why we have cement walls now. Who was that guy?
I can't remember.
Neil Bonnet, a great French Formula One driver that came over here.
You stopped quick that day up in turn 2. I mean, 110 to zip in about 3 feet.
I went from leading the race to minus 5 miles an hour in 5 foot. That's the quickest stop I've ever made.
It was a scary looking wreck. And that, again, the cement walls, all the stuff, that safety, it makes it safer.
We'll talk about cement walls as safer in a moment. As we follow the leader, Rusty Wallace out in front with 136 laps complete. Schrader stays second. Morgan Shepherd is now third, and Ernie Irvin is fourth. 142 of 400 laps are in the books, and as matters stand, Rusty Wallace has that Pontiac number 27 in first place. There you see Ken Schrader, number 25, in second. Sandwiched between them, the 5 of Ricky Rudd, a lap down. The 2 leaders coming around a complete lap 144 this time, and in the third position, you see number 6. Mark Martin is a lap down behind the Schrader car. There's Mark. He's trying to make up time. Kowicki is also a lap down. Schrader really stretched them out. The third place car in the event is car number 15, the Bud Moore Ford. Morgan Shepherd at the controls in that big controversy a week ago up there at Darlington.
A lot of times we go to the big super speedways and we see fuel mileage enter into the outcome of a race. Very seldom on a track this size do you see it, but it's really changed the complexion. Here's Ricky Rudd, Kowicki, Mark Martin, and a lot of the real top guys that are down, and they're going to have to work awful hard to get it back.
Just on the tail end of your picture there, on the right-hand side, that is Schrader, who is moving along now in.
Oh, big wreck, backstretch.
They've got a backstretch melee going on out here. 1, 2, 3 automobiles torn up. Line on the bottom of the track and one directly in the center of the track. The 21 car of Dale Jarrett rolling down through there. And again, it was in turn 2. Bobby Hillen's car comes by showing a lot of smoke in the main straightaway. He may have collected the front end of that car. Let's see on car number 8, the Snickers machine.
He's got the sheet metal pushed back on the right front, rub it.
Dale Jarrett's number 21, the Wood Brothers car, also caught up in the devastation that takes place in lap 146. fourth caution of the day.
Maybe we could get a replay to see this thing over again, because I couldn't see exactly what happened. Just saw a wad of cars.
The first thing you see is that
21-12.
21-12 are sideways together.
Harry Gant was in the 12 car. Dale Jarrett in his 21 car. Ooh,
Boy,
nice dodge.
Chad Little looked like he just barely got through there. He was avoiding debris on the track and almost got the other cars.
And you see the 90 car, Charlie Glotzback, and the Commonwealth Glazing Ford Judy Donlevy's car also up there.
Glotzback has seen it all. That didn't bother him a bit. He's been doing this for so long.
And they've got confusion. The pace car hadn't picked up the 27 car, who was the leader, so everybody's going around. There's confusion on who's where, and they're coming down pit road. So I think it'll take a little bit to settle this, just who the leader is.
Well, some of them went on down pit road and never checked off, never lifted out of the gas because of the confusion. We'll have to see what happens. They're black flagging the 27 car, and it might possibly be for turning down pit road too early.
Well, I've got a feeling they're going to put the 27 car back in the front where he should have been. That's the car they should have picked up because he was the leader. I think they just picked up the wrong car.
Let's take a look at that replay.
He stopped waiting on it. Okay, there's the first thing you see is the 21 car with Dale Jarrett and Harry Gant. Looked like they got hung up there coming off the corner. And you see just exactly what the race car driver said, nothing but smoke.
Robbie Moroso with the Crown Petroleum Igloo car giving us those dramatic pictures as he came through that incident in the back straightaway here at Richmond International Raceway. You saw the 27 just parked out there stationary. So it was a setup shot to send home to mother. That was a hold on his part, waiting for the pace car to come on by, and now he slides into position as John had predicted.
Now they have the cars correctly lined so everybody can make their pit stops now.
Are you happy now, John?
Yeah, I didn't want anybody to get messed up.
Okay.
We'll be back with more from Richmond Live on TBS following these messages. 151 laps are down. Fourth caution of the day is now underway. Pace car in the back straightaway with Rusty Wallace out in front in this event. Running second is Ken Schrader. Let's go down and get a Goodyear Racing update now as to other motorsports activities around the nation. Mike Joy.
Ken, good time to take a look at racing around the nation as they sort out the field. Yesterday, NASCAR's Grand National Stars shattered the speed record here at Richmond Fairgrounds. 99-mile-per-hour average speed in their 200-lap event. Starting from the pole, Mike Waltrip in number 30 was the first Rabbit looking to repeat his February win. And luck was with him on two separate occasions. Watch Waltrip in the yellow car dodge a bullet. Mike McLaughlin across the racetrack into the wall. After a round of pit stops, Steve Grissom took the lead. He looked uncatchable, but didn't count on Rick Mast. Mast in 22 reeled Grissom in, made this right move in traffic, went on to win his second race of the year. So Rick Mast really on a tear, beating Grissom, Mike Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, and Jimmy Hensley. Hensley's fifth place finish allowed him to close up on Chuck Bown in the NASCAR Grand National standings. Bown, though, still holds a whopping point lead of some 260 points. Bobby Labonte third in the standings. Yesterday, up at the Thompson, Connecticut 5/8 mile speedway in Connecticut, they ran the ADAP Auto Parts 200 for Busch Grand National North drivers. Ken Bouchard winning the race for his sponsor over Jamie Obey, Joey Carafas, and Ricky Craven. And in the modified clash, Tony Hirschman took home $6,900 for the win over Rick Fuller, Mike Stefanik, Mike Iwanitzko, and Doug Hebron. Later on today, we'll have updates on Formula One racing and the NASCAR modified Winston 300 up at Thompson, Connecticut.
Thank you, Mike. Here at the start-finish line with Neil Bonnet, Johnny Hayes, I'm Ken Squire. Hayes, you're the guy that judges the talent. You're the guy that's always finding drivers for people and all that stuff. Why isn't somebody picking up on Rick Mast? Here's a guy that finished 6th at Daytona, comes out here, runs his buns off in Grand National races, talks beautifully, just a real good racer. Why hasn't somebody put him in a car? He'd give him a show.
Well, he did used to drive for Travis Carter a year or so ago. Then that was changed. But obviously, he's got the talent, and he'll get the break.
Let's go to Mark Pfister.
Thank you very much, Ken. You know, it's a topsy-turvy time of year for NASCAR when some drivers don't have rides for next year, sponsorships haven't been firmed up, contracts haven't been signed, and that not only has an effect on the folks down in the pits, it has an effect right here at the souvenir stand. Next year, we know, right here, Dale Earnhardt will be driving the black number 3 car. His license plate currently selling for $10 at the souvenir stand is pinned for $5. Darrell Waltrip won't be flying these colors next year, so he's been marked down. $5 for a license plate and $3 for his pin. So as you can see, it has an effect not just out on the track, but for out here in the souvenir stand.
Hey, Mark, could you do me a favor and check and see if they have any Neil Bonnet stuff down there?
I checked a couple of minutes ago. I asked them how much Neil Bonnet stuff they did have, Johnny, and they said they had a whole bunch, as we say from my part of the world, beaucoup Neil Bonnet paraphernalia, but they just can't remember where they put it.
Yeah, John, and I don't think you can afford any of my stuff anyway.
Any man that's don't feel sorry for Neil Bonnet fans, he spends $5,300 per day to feed his catfish. Can you believe that? $5,300 a day to feed his catfish. He's got 12 ponds bigger than this racetrack. So my heart goes out to poor old race car drivers like Neil Bonnet.
Let's go down to the Darrell Waltrip pits.
Okay, thank you. I'm down here with Jeff Hammond, the crew chief for Darrell. First of all, happy birthday, Jeff. I understand it's the anniversary of your natal day. Well, how's the patient doing?
He's doing really well right now. If we just hadn't got out of sync with everybody, we'd be in great shape right now. He's just driving a really smart race. He's just trying to pace himself. And, I think we're going to be able to get our lap back. If we can do that, we can get up there. We got a shot at these guys today. We're really pumped up.
What about aches and pains in that brace? Everything okay there?
Everything so far right now. Really just been real excited. He's been pumped up so much. That's been more of a problem than anything else. But we got him under control right now. This thing will stay green for a while. I think it'll be tough before the end of the day.
Make me a piece of cake and good luck.
Darrell Waltrip running a lap down in 11th position as we go back under green at lap 156. Rusty Wallace showing the way. Schrader in second. Morgan Shepherd in third. Pontiac, Chevrolet, Ford. 1, 2, and 3 here at Richmond. Look at Darrell Waltrip roll right up on the outside. Thank you very much. The car is running, but the inside is the place to be out of turn number 2.
It seemed to shift back and forth. We saw a while ago. The inside run a little bit, the outside, it's just where your car's hooked up. But thank goodness we got a racetrack with 2 grooves like that.
The car number 26, you see it come by, is running back in the 13th position, Brett Bodine. Wallace scooting, Bodine trying to get some laps back, and it looks like they've got that Kenny Bernstein car really dialed in.
Can you believe how the cars are running side by side all the way around the racetrack? And I tell you, they're going really fast, and they're right beside. Whoa, we're right here coming out turn 4.
Mickey Gibbs is spinning and crashing into the wall up here in turn 4.
That might have been more than 2. That might have been 3 wide.
Yeah.
I didn't see it happen, but
3.5.
3.5. Sometimes you can't make it.
Racing back to the line, trying to make his lap up. As they come around is the 26 car, the 5 car,
Gibbs is
all
going
coming.
slow.
Gibbs is going slow. It's tight getting through, and they're going to make it. Well, Mickey Gibbs got it back underway, and he was right in front of the traffic coming out of turn number 4.
4 of your key cars got their laps back. Ricky Rudd got his lap. Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, and Darrell Waltrip. Those 4 cars got their laps back.
Take a look here at Mickey Gibbs out of control up in turn number 4. Backs it into the wall.
Those tires spinning in the opposite direction is when your foot's still on that throttle. So if you get out there and you get the brakes on, sometimes it takes off the other way. If you can hold that throttle down, it'll slow the momentum down a little quicker.
Feel that tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. He'll remember bouncing into that.
Mike Joy, who's had the fastest lap so far?
Well, Ken, the race pace has backed up a little. Rusty Wallace, after that round of caution flags, just ripped off a 23.32, 115 miles an hour. But still Ernie Irvan, second lap of the race, 118.22 miles per hour. That's the quickest lap of the race so far on our Timex speed track.
Rusty Wallace in first, Schrader in second, Morgan Shepherd in third, Dale Earnhardt in fourth, Ernie Irvan in fifth on this shakeout. Waltrip has come on to pit road, and they're changing right side rubber on car number 17, and they're doing the same on Bodine, on Elliott, and Rudd, those cars that made up the lap.
Yeah, I was just starting to say, you notice everybody that made their lap jumped right back in because they know they're going to have to go to the back anyway, so this gives them an advantage coming through the pack.
I see Jeff Hammond in there jumping up, and he just got his birthday present. 1 free lap.
NASCAR put a warning out back a few moments ago on the 27 car, and we saw it parked over there, about slowing on the caution. I don't think they did any more than give him a warning.
Since they put the rule in, usually you have to run 1 lap around behind the pace car. And what happens, a guy like Rusty had built a little bit of a lead up, and you don't want to stop and slow down and run a little bit faster lap, and they're going to get on to him about it. Here's Schrader and getting 4 tires. As far as he went on that first tank of fuel, he probably needs these tires. He can go the rest of the way.
I've got to tell you one thing. These restarts are awesome because they're running so hard, so close together, and everybody's trying to force their way through the front. So we're looking at a lot of cautions and a lot of chance to get your lap back.
And the restarts are always the trick. Restarts are always the problem because somebody doesn't remember what it was before. That's where I think you find your very best drivers are on the restarts. The ones who continuously come out and are smooth and quick on a restart are the guys that I think are the very, very best.
Here's Kawicki on the inside. This is his opportunity. Him and the 6 car, they were so quick early to maybe get their lap back now. But I think Rusty Wallace has got something on his mind as well about leading it.
Kawicki dives to the inside in that 7 car.
Rusty pushed out a little bit, got a little bit loose.
Kawicki running 13th, 1 lap down for the leaders.
There's 2 cars back in where they're telling lead lap, and there's Bodine pushing Wallace up. There's 3 cars got a chance to get a lap back. Earnhardt's the new leader.
Earnhardt in number 3, slicing through competition. And how do you do? There's his 5 points for leading a race.
Earnhardt loves the push and shove aggressive stuff. I mean, he just loves it because that way he makes everybody blink. And watch him work Bodine. He just does this with so much fun and enthusiasm because he knows Bodine is looking at rearview mirror saying, there's Earnhardt.
Dick Trickle in the number 66. And he's made up a lap and is running up there with the leaders now.
He's earning his money. You see him cranking on that steering wheel. That thing's not real smooth through that corner, but he's really hustling it around.
I'll tell you, he reminded the story of this man in the Trop Arctic car. Dick Trickle in 66 reminded me of Neil Bond. He was saying at Bristol Boy that he heard those big 36-degree banks there with that broken leg. He said he really felt that. Darlington didn't bother him nearly as much.
You notice the big black tube right blowing in his face. That's an air duct to blow cool air on him versus using a cool suit. But see the big tube there? That's blowing cool outside air on Dick Trickle. It's not a very sophisticated system. It looks like they took a piece of drainage pipe and stuck it to the floor, but it's working well.
And he has a cigarette strapped right in there. 1-pack race over the lead.
You think we can get him cool air blowing days over here? Cool him down?
How about some more hot air? Can we make him wilt?
I tell you, Bodine's making Dale work for that outside lane, and that's what it's all about. He's going to make him work to get around him.
Some fans out there really having a good time today.
See them touch. They look. They're hooked up. They love it. Go ahead. I love it.
Just make him hear a little noise inside. Oh, spin going out of turn number 2. Got a looper going down the back straightaway, and the winner in 88 has his hands full.
No caution. He got it straightened out. We're still racing.
That's the second time we've seen a full 360 out there, and they didn't have to throw a caution. I'll tell you what, the best seat in the house is where there isn't a grandstand. That's that turn 2 area. Well, they have to use every bit of ability in turn number 2, and you miss by any margin out there, and you're either going to buy the wall or you may get collected by somebody. Right there.
We've seen a bunch of them lose it over there, but the track is so wide they're able to get it back on that inside.
Okay, Earnhardt jumped under this time to try to get the advantage on the inside because that's where you want to be, and now he has Bodine at a disadvantage, he thinks, but he drove by him.
Let's go down to the STP Pit Center. Mike Joy has a guest.
Ken, Derek Cope has joined us, the second driver out of the race after her again. And as you watch Dale Earnhardt here work on Jeff Bodine, if you were coaching him from up above, what would you be telling him right now?
Well, you know, right now you can see Dale's working real hard on it just a few laps before, and he was working the outside, which actually right now it's got a little more rubber laid down, a little bit better bite. But Jeff used him up a little bit and got his tires hot, working on Earnhardt on the outside for quite a few laps. And that's why you see Dale dropping back. So, you know, now he's got a little bit of breathing room and he can give the car his head and see if he can keep Earnhardt at bay.
This looks like it's become a really good two-groove racetrack.
It really has. I'll tell you, the cars are working. If you notice, the guys go in on the bottom portion of the racetrack and then they drift up and come off a little bit high. As the tires start to wear a little bit, you'll see the guys go in and use a little bit of higher line because they get a little bit better pull off the banking there. And there's a little rubber up there right now, so that's why Dale was able to run as fast as he could on the outside. So it's a good two-groove racetrack right now.
Sorry to see you out of it.
Yeah, thanks.
Derek Cope.
Watch this leader, number 3, Earnhardt, 27 Wallace right with him. That's for first place.
And that hard racing door to door trying to get by has let Alan Kowicki pull off to a pretty good lead, and also
he's made up a lot out there. He made up almost a quarter of a track. He's running the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, Mark Martin and Kowicki right there together.
Yeah, and Mark Martin, so if they get a caution now, they're back into the lap, so this worked out perfect for them.
And Morgan Shepherd maintains that third position with car number 15 for Bud Moore. Morgan looking very good out here at the present time. Stay with us. We're 175 laps deep in the Richmond 400. Winston Cup Racing here on TBS. 61,000 folks, largest crowd ever here at the Virginia State Fairgrounds. Largest crowd ever in Virginia to attend a sporting event are here for the 400, and they're watching a good scrap for first place. Number 27, Wallace, just threw a curveball at number 3, Earnhardt, and he sunk right down to the inside and nearly got it. Couldn't get by.
They've been side by side, Ken. And one good thing about it, both those cars are black, and you can't see the wheel marks. They're starting to put them on there.
There's a touch of bad blood between these two throughout the year, and they keep racing each other real clean, but they keep, I can just see their relationship's been strained a little bit on the racetrack.
Well, they're real big good friends, but I don't know how good now. They just keep stretching it, and sooner or later it's going to cause a little bit of problem. But these guys race hard, and that's what it's all about. There's nobody said you're supposed to pull over and let anybody by. And these guys race hard, and you got to respect them for that.
Mark Pfister has the story for us.
Well, thank you very much. We're down here with Tony and Diney Shiner. They're from Haymarket, Virginia. Big Dale Earnhardt fans. They even took one of the bed sheets from the bedroom here, painted it up for us. Now, Dale's in the lead right now. Got a little more than 200 laps to go. What's going to be his big problem?
I think the number 27 car right behind him. He's awful tough, as you can see. But there's many laps to go, yeah.
How long did it take you guys to put this thing together?
We did it all last night. It's my first time I'm doing it, but I'm going to make the big one next time.
I wonder which hotel they were at.
They brought that from home.
Oh,
Come
sure.
on.
Morgan Shepherd is third behind this battle. His Ford right behind the Chevy Pontiac duel for first place. Chevy in first, Pontiac in second.
And Morgan's quietly had a good solid run all day. We haven't given him a lot of calls, but he's been up front all day, and he appears to be running that group down.
After last week at Darlington, they're all going to be kind of quietly making the moves. All the fines and everything.
$10,000 fine on Schrader. Reaction, gentlemen, after that altercation at Darlington between Schrader and Morgan Shepherd.
Well, when you're in a race car like that, the guy driving it really is the only one that knows what happened. 2 cars involved. They fined Schrader $10,000, and they put both of Schrader and Morgan on probation. And I tell you, as long as I drove those things when I was driving them, if somebody made me mad, I ran over them again. So once I told Les Ricker, I said, I might as well write you a check and give it to you. And when I hit somebody, you fill it out, because you can't take anything off anybody, be it Morgan's fault or Schrader's. You got to take care of yourself. I never did like the penalty box. I always liked taking my own problems in the end on the racetrack.
Now, I've always taken a much more logical approach to that, because I don't like power, because I never had any muscles, and I don't like to get beat up, but I would rather pay $10,000 and have Bud Moore hit me in the head with a hammer.
Yeah, you're right, but you said power. One good thing about racing, everybody weighs 3,500 pounds. You don't have to take anything off anybody.
You mean if I could drive a car, I'd have respect?
I don't think anybody respects your driving.
Let's take a look at the interval out here. With 188 laps completed, Richmond Earnhardt in front. There you see Morgan Shepherd holding that third spot. He's down about 5 car lengths to the leaders as they come out of turn 4. Shepherd maintains third, and then back in fourth position would be car number 4. That's Ernie Irvin right there, who's set on the pole at the outset. Ricky Rudd follows him in car number 5. He is in the 5th position. And then Kyle Petty has streaked up into the 6th spot. Kyle Petty, Felix Sabato's car, number 42. There's the 4, running in 4th. Ricky Rudd right behind him, and then Kyle Petty in the 42 in 6th.
Again, there's something that we're almost overlooking here. We're sitting there watching the guys running 1, 2, 3, and just in the back of this deal, almost made a half a lap up already, is Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki, who are the guys that were the fastest cars early in the race. If they can get back in sync, they're as fast or faster than anyone on the racetrack.
They are drawing away, and they are being forced to run real hard here at the halfway distance. 190 laps are complete. We've had 6 lead changes among 6 drivers, 5 cautions thus far in the race.
Update you at midway as to how this race has materialized. Here you see the Mark Martin car, the number 6 machine. Mark is running in 14th position on the lead lap. Alan Kawicki is in 15th position on the lead lap. They are the last 2 cars now working lap 193.
But those cars running 13th and 12th aren't running near as fast. They're really close. They shouldn't move on that. It's conceivable these guys could unlap themselves and get back in contention as fast as they're running.
And after what we saw, no doubt there will be another caution, giving them the opportunity to close right up on the pace car and make a run of it. Here's the story for the moment. Earnhardt and Wallace. Friends? Yeah, off the track. On the track, battle royal. What a show they're giving this crowd as they lap Jimmy Spencer. His car battle torn down on the inside. Out of turn number 4. Into turn number 3 go those 2 leaders.
This is where the strong suits of the Richard Childress team. Not only are they in contention for the championship, this is the same car that we were talking about early in the race that was faltering to the point that we sent a runner down to find out what was happening to the Earnhardt car. They said when we pit, we'll tune it in. They certainly tuned it in. That's one of their strong suits. They might not have the best car when race starts, but they're certainly going to get it in contention for the day's over.
Struggle continues for the lead, and it is a struggle. You can see Rusty Wallace hanging the tail end out a little more on that Pontiac.
I don't think he likes following the other black one too much, do you?
Five laps away from half distance. Mid-race coming up. Dick Trickle, number 66, in 7th position, closing on Kyle Petty, number 42, just in front of him there. You're riding with Dick Trickle in the Phillips 66 Trop Arctic car. There you see from outside as he closes in. Trickle driving, broken bones, left leg, gets right back down to the bottom of the track. Tree right on that wall. That's a dramatic picture, because that's one of those places that'll slow you down real fast.
Here's Rusty making
down to the
run.
inside, 27 going for it. 3 on the outside. This is the battle for first place. Wallace almost there, and Earnhardt cuts him down again.
But it's not over yet. They're going to try it a time or 2 more, I promise you, before the day's over.
Try it right now out of 4. Earnhardt looking for that 8th win of the season. Wallace back in 4th place, 377 points behind Mark Martin as they come in here with still a lot of racing left to do this season. 7 races to go. Dover, Delaware next, then Martinsville, then North Wilkesboro, and then Charlotte. Now you're looking at number 4, and there is Ernie Irvan being challenged by number 5, Ricky Rudd. Number 4, Irvan's Chevrolet and Rudd Chevy.
He was so strong at the first of the race, and right now they're having a little bit of trouble, but like I said, we're dealing with different track conditions, a lot of laps on it, and it's kind of gotten away from them. Maybe they can dial it back in.
Place. That just shows you how much that team's improved and how strong they're getting.
Those guys that work on that team run Bills and Motors, and the people that own that thing have really made a dedication years ago to be there and win and racing, and I'm so glad to see them get there.
Halfway, half distance. Rudd to the inside, in the Hendrick car, going after the Morgan McClure number 4. Earnhardt has pulled away by 3 car lengths from Wallace up in front. Wallace willing to let him go for the moment. Look at this one.
Boy, it makes it tough. You can have as good a car or maybe a little bit quicker car, but that position and have to make a move around it. We've seen Rudd make a run every now and then. We've seen Rusty make a run in Earnhardt. You almost have to sit there and cool the tires, cool them, have a little bit of patience, and make one effort. If you can't do it, you got to drop back and call a timeout, cool it down, and make another run. It's almost impossible just to continuously try to pass.
Well, Ernie Irvan has been here since 1987. You have to matriculate for a while before you can go out and really fly with these top stars. He's learned it all, and with this Morgan McClure team, chemistry is just letter perfect. Magic for this team at the present time. They're on a great roll. We should continue to watch Ricky Rudd work on the inside.
A little bit of smoke off the sides of them where they bump together.
Yeah, Ernie slid up, got just a little bit of juice coming out of there. Ricky got the nose in, and they touched. Now, Ernie's going to try to come back and touch him back. That's like an American thing to do. If you touch me, I'll try to touch you back.
You see Rudd raised his hand and said, I really didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. Trust me, you have my word on it.
That's a little deal. Drivers always, if somebody moves over and lets you buy you a pass, and you throw your hand like thanks, you know. Well, I don't know that he really meant thanks, but he held his hand at that time.
Didn't mean surrender, huh, Neil?
No, not yet.
Kyle Petty is 6th, Dick Trickle 7th, Bill Elliott is 8th, Ken Schrader 9th, Brett Bodine is in 10th at the present time, with Rick Wilson in 11th. Getting a call for the first time. Darrell Waltrip is up to 12th. Michael, his brother, is 13th. More live from Richmond in a moment. 210 laps down as you watch this battle between Kyle Petty in the 42 and Dick Trickle in the 66. This is for 6th place. See Bill Elliott getting into it as well. Kyle is in 6th, Trickle is in 7th, and number 9, Bill Elliott, maintaining 8th. Now you're riding with Dick Trickle as he tries to close in again on 42. Number 30, Michael Waltrip has come on pit road. He was running at 13th as he pulled out of the side of the track. Here's Alan Kowicki at number 7. Remember, he made up that lap. Well, watch right here. Let's fade back and show you what's happening to Alan Kowicki. There's the 7 car, and he was drawing away from everyone. Now it's going back the other way. Here's the leader, and he's cut back in about 20 car lengths from Alan Kowicki. But Mark Martin, on the other hand, is the quickest thing on the racetrack. He continues to pull away from everyone out here. Mark is being shown 13th in the lead lap. We have 15 cars in that lap. Kowicki is on the tail end, and now he's sliding back into the clutches of the leader Earnhardt, and potentially another 20 or 30 laps to go a lap down.
That's right, and Mark Martin actually has a complete straightaway on Earnhardt, which they started out dead even, so he's got a good shot at making his up.
Rusty Wallace's car has gotten loose. The rear end starting to kick out on that, but the number 6 car is the fastest car on the racetrack. It's, I mean, he has really pulled away about a third of a lap, so I believe that's the best car on the racetrack at this time. When you make that commitment like Rusty did a while ago, he followed Dale, he tried to pass him. He really, as you mentioned, John, got the car a little sideways a couple of times, and you'll almost pay that price. You'll have an equal car, you'll overuse things, spin the tires, and if you don't pass him, you're going to the rear. He actually could have passed Dale. If he would have made it, he could have sat there, but right now he's losing ground because he burned the tires up. Here's Childress. He's really worried about things. Fine-looking group. He's concerned about his championship bull because he's already won 7 races. You know, I mean, he likes his cows now as much as his race cars.
Is that right?
I think it's a cow or bull.
I talked to him the other day, John. He won last year with a certain bull. He had won the national championship. He bought him another one that won this year. So between Earnhardt, he's got 3 bulls on his side now.
And what I love about that, Bud Green, who's a truck driver for Junior Johnson, beat him out of one of his best bulls when Richard first started because Richard didn't know what he was into. So Bud stole his herd bull.
All right, let's stop the farm and market report and go down to the STP Pit Center where Mike Joy can give us the mid-race report.
And Ken, here is our Goodyear mid-race report. 6 lead changes, starting with Ernie Irvin, the pole sitter. Alan Kowicki was up front for a while, and both of the point chasers, Earnhardt and Mark Martin, have led a couple of laps. 4 drivers in all. Average speed 97.5 miles per hour. 5 cautions. The first for Rusty Wallace, the second Jimmy Spencer. The most damaging when Gant and Jarrett got together. Gant in relief of Hut Strickland. Only 4 cars out of the race, so attrition fairly low at this point, just past halfway.
218 laps officially complete. Here's the story on the racetrack. It's Dick Trickle in the 66 in the 7th position. Bill Elliott storming along in 8th, right behind him in that car number 9. Back, taking a look at Elliott closing in on that number 66. Here he comes trying a shot on the inside.
You can see how straight that spoiler is sticking up to make that car stick in the turns. The camera has trouble looking over. That mark was a spoiler, and that's to make that car stick because the car tends to get loose on it.
Getting a report that the alternators quit on car number 30, Michael Waltrip, who sat outside of the front row.
That's misleading. What the problem is, when that alternator goes out, the first thing everybody says, well, the engine's going to die. He can reach over and turn everything off. The problem he has is the rear end gearing in these cars. The rear ends have a cooler on them that's fed by an electric pump, an electric fan, and when you cut that off, you risk losing the rear end of the car more so than anything else.
Here's the running order after 200 laps. We're working 2:21. Notice that Bobby Allison's car number 12. Bobby, a many-time winner here, 4 wins in this particular race. Had Hut Strickland start, but he had a stomach virus and had to step out of the car. Harry Gant, who was out, first competitor out of the race. Harry Gant is now driving the number 12. Looking very good, thank you.
I would say he's going in the right direction. He's headed to the front. He's doing a good job with it.
Well down in the standings at the present time. Here he has drawn around those 2 cars that continue to battle for 6. He's many laps down. Elliott again on the outside in number 9. 4-7. Gets it.
They've been swapping it back and forth. One to pass the other, and they're back and forth. They're pretty equal.
Coming into this race, Mark Martin leading in points by 26 over Earnhardt. Martin's got a lot of making up to do. 224 laps complete. Mark Martin being shown at 13th position, trying to close on Wilson, number 75.
Dale Earnhardt is getting closer and closer to Alan Kowicki. He's only about a second or so behind him now.
May put him a lap down. That would leave 14 cars in the lead lap. Now, do you think this point system is fair, guys, where a guy can win 7 races, another guy 2, 1, and the guy that has won the 7 is not leading in the points? How do you feel about it?
I think you wouldn't change a system that works every year. This thing seems to go down to the last race who our champion is, and that certainly, to me, is a system that works.
Neil?
Yeah, and they reward consistency also, and you need that because if you didn't, you'd have guys come out here with hand grenade motors and these things, and not be concerned about finishing and winning all the races and everything. But like Johnny says, it's hard to change it because at the end of the season, it comes down to usually the last race determining who wins the championship.
Let's talk about another sport for just a moment. We watch these cars beginning to develop a little bit of a competition for first place again. Next Thursday in Reading, Pennsylvania, very special time. Darrell Gwynn, the great NHRA champion, paralyzed after a crash in England earlier this year. We understand that all the Winston Cup drivers, in fact, it's almost a mandatory driver roll car by Les Richter, are going to play softball against the top drivers from the National Hot Rod Association. Is that the way it goes?
Yes, and it's a $10 donation to the Darrell Gwynn Recovery Fund, which has been very expensive. Darrell Gwynn was at my home a week before he was tragically injured. He's one of the neatest kids that's ever lived, and everybody has pitched in for Darrell and trying to help him. Lou Bannell, the chairman of the Board of U.S. Tobacco, arranged for Darrell to get in the Miami project in Miami, Florida. They've had a lot of success. He's had some more movement in his arms. And he really does have hopes and holds out that, hey, I'm going to get recovered or some partial recovery. So anything we can do, the Winston Cup guys are going to do to help the National Hot Rod Association guys.
They're going to do that, but the ball game is kind of getting out of hand. These guys are wanting to win so much that I noticed that Bernstein's car was parked down in the pits, and you have to be a Winston Cup driver to play. So they went through the garage area and found out they're good softball players that were mechanics, and they let them make a lap in that car so they'd be eligible. So I think they're kind of stacking the odds a little bit on them.
And there should be a kudo for Kenny Bernstein, who's worked very hard to put this thing together. He's a terrific guy, and of course, he plays both sides of the street. He's a great drag racer, and he's a great car owner over here on the Winston Cup side, and he's been responsible for putting this program together. At this point, I understand there may be major fines if somebody says they're going to come and not show up. Richter's really on a roll, the guy they call the coach who used to play for the Los Angeles Rams. He wants to see this as a major success. Usually don't get very excited. There's softball games all the time, but this is one that all the drivers seem to be involved in. It's up and ready next Thursday. Well, Dale Earnhardt stays out in front now, and here he is lapping Jimmy Deans. Wallace is off the pace dramatically.
He almost hit the wall. He got up in the loose stuff and slid. He's back. Okay, he just got right up in the marbles and almost caught that wall.
Falls back to third. Shepard goes to second. He had to lift all the way out, and he couldn't get the throttle down again until he came to the start-finish line. That started in 3, and he came to the stripe before he gathered it back up.
Again, I've been noticing he's been trying a little bit higher line cautions out now.
Yellow is out.
I see debris in the corner of the first turn. That might be it. Big chunk of rubber, looks like. But he's been trying a little bit higher line every lap, and he just got a little bit too high.
Sixth caution of the day.
Boy, that was a saving thing for Alan Kowicki. He was within 3 car lengths of being caught by Earnhardt again. So here we go with Alan Kowicki back in the lead lap again.
Piece of debris down at turn number 1 brings out the caution. Pace car has the field in tow at turn 3. And the leaders are taking it on pit road. There's the debris that has brought out this caution period. Earnhardt, Shepard, Wallace, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvin, Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, all coming on the pit road. Jeff Bodine, Kyle Petty, Schrader. Dick Trickle is in. Darrell Waltrip comes in. Let's go down to Chris Economac.
Take a look at the left front tire just coming off of Dale Earnhardt's car. You can see the paint on it. It gives you an idea of just how close the racing is out there. The boys have gotten their man out, but he's behind Rusty Wallace, who got out just a bit earlier and out at the end of the pit road. The excitement is here is intense, but it's only intense for a matter of seconds. Thank you.
We saw the 27 car coming out first, the 3 swing around him. We'll ask Neil Bonnet about that after we return live from Richmond. The 236 laps complete in the Richmond 400.
What's going to be there?
61,000 folks here at Richmond as TBS presents the Richmond 400. Now 239 laps complete and 1 lap before they'll turn them loose under green another time. And as they do, we'll have Rusty Wallace in first, Dale Earnhardt second, Morgan Shepherd third. The 4th, Ricky Rudd. 5th is Hut Strickland. 6th, Bill Elliott. 7th, Kyle Petty. 8th is Dick Trickle as they get ready for green. A quick report from Chris Economac.
It's often said that the reason for some yellow flags in NASCAR is the Frenchman, Marcel Debris, on the track. Such is not the case today. This little piece of stuff had to be taken off the track, and to some people, a collector would be a precious thing on the bedroom wall. But for me, there it goes.
I don't think he was on his soapbox for that.
I think Chris already has enough junk. He didn't need any.
Straight reportage. Pace car is in, field ready on a restart. 239 down, green is out. On the break, Earnhardt right up on the back of Wallace, and they switch them around after the start, and they're ready to switch them back right now. Earnhardt drives to the bottom. As you saw as we went to commercial, he had 27 in front, and the 3 swung right around him coming out of the track as the officials changed them.
That's that advantage of being the end guy on pit road. Rusty rolled a few feet. He beat Dale out, and they switched him back, but Dale seems to take care of this situation on the racetrack right now.
By 4 car lengths in a hurry. Further back, number 15, as you watch those 2 leaders, and just behind them, the 15 car, that's Morgan Shepherd, has his hands full with Ricky Rudd in the number 5 in 4th.
Morgan's had a good run today. He's sitting there in 3rd place. The car really seems to be working good down low. That could be a big advantage late in the race. Rusty is out there. Look, big
crash
man,
going
big
into turn number 4, and it's a big one.
Kowicki's in
Little is in it.
6 car, but he spins away and drives away. Mark Martin does drive away.
Brett Bodine, he's taking the back end off the Kenny Bernstein car, but the big crash was Chad Little, who went absolutely head on into the wall. His red and white machine now lies at the bottom of the track.
Here's Jeff Bodine.
Trying to get a lap back. Watch this. He did it.
Bodine getting a lap back as he comes to the line. Serious incident.
25 car has major damage on it also with Kenny Schrader on the front end.
Oh, he's buckled the front end on his badly. Here you see Brett Bodine ready to clamber out of Kenny Bernstein's car number 26.
Yeah, Brett's moving around, has his helmet off, fixing his earpieces, so he's okay.
But the man that hit hard is on the bottom of the racetrack, Chad Little.
Yeah, and Alan Kowicki has severe damage to his car also. It's going to be hard to see from here across the track. They went in, I saw a bunch of cars get stacked up. Okay, the 26 car sideways, got out into the 6. He hit Chad Little, and just from there on, it was just ricocheting around. But it looked like the 26 got hung up with someone up front.
Waltrip very lucky as he moved through. There is Brett Bodine out of the car number 26 and looking over the damage.
They have pit road closed to make sure the ambulance and the cars can be moved.
And they've also got Chad Little sitting right in the entrance. Here's a 6 car that car spun, made a 360. I don't know how bad it got hit. It'd be critical in this points thing, but I think he might have just caved the grill work in the frontal area of the car in.
There is the 19 car, and there is the potential for some serious hurt on Chad Little. The Bullseye Barbecue Ford crashing hard up there in turn number 3.
The thing that Chad has going in his favor is a young guy. He's real strong. He works out all the time. He's really physically fit, and it pays off. When you have an accident like this, the better shape you're in, the better chance you got of getting out of it being hurt too bad. But that's a shot when you wrap the front of one of them up. Here we go again in the corner. Just a pushing and shoving match. It looked like 6, 26, 25. All of them were just wadded up.
19. It went straight head on into the wall and then comes down the back to rest. But boy, he hit hard on the front end of that thing.
Waltrip was lucky he didn't get collected in that. He was right behind him.
And we get a lot of time you're kind of lulled asleep with this. We're at a 1 mile racetrack. And I say, oh, he wasn't going but 115. Well, wreck one of your cars at 115 and see what it feels like. No matter though you're in the corner and it looks slow, it's still quite a jolt.
Mark Martin's number 6 coming back on pit road. You saw it slithering through that incident. Now he's back in. There's some body work wrinkled on that Ford of Jack Roush, trying to stay up in front in the battle for the championship. Let's get out of his pits right now.
He just did arrive. Robin Pendleton sends his crew over the wall. They're taking a real close look at it right now down underneath. Tires look to be fine. There is no contact between bodywork and the tires. They're reaching down into the left front right now. Mark Martin, when he went around behind the pace car, was weaving back and forth and checking out the suspension, and off he goes, nearly running over the arm of Pemberton, who still had it stuck underneath, but he's back on the track.
Axle housing is bent on car number 7, Kowicki's car, from this debacle up in turn number 3. Major mayhem here at Richmond that happened in lap number 244. 7th caution of the day.
I'll tell you, that's what we were talking about, the pit work. You know, you see right there's Robin, and Mark and Robin, all those guys are real close friends, but it's miscommunications. The key is when that jack goes down or some guy gives you a go signal, you leave. And it was miscommunications. Robin had his arm up, but luckily got it out before it got hit. But I'm telling you, that's a tough place to make a living like this. And I noticed with Robin reaching under that particular part of the car, pulling that front wheel up, evidently the toe end is knocked out on the car. And they'll reach in there now and start adjusting on the tie rods and set the toe end again. He probably got bumped. Yeah, that's exactly. He's working on the tie rods and stuff, and see if he can get the toe end where Mark not only can finish, but they want to get the car back competitive.
Could be big hurt for the championship on Mark Martin. We'll see what develops here at Richmond International Raceway from Mark Martin, who came in here leading by 26 points over Dale Earnhardt, who still stays up on top in the race. There you see Chad Little's car, number 19, up on the hook. He has been taken to the infield care center. He was taken out of the car on a backboard, and that's all we have to report on the young attorney Chad Little out of the Northwest. Terrific campaigner in that part of the country. And the front end of that car badly destroyed after this 4-car incident in turn 3 at Richmond International Raceway. 250 laps have now been completed. The incident took place at lap 244. Mark Martin, they continue to work on his car. They use up 20 or 30 seconds as the field works on precautions. Do some more work and get him back out there again. And Kowicki's car, number 7, they continue to work on his machine as well.
Yes, and the difference is Allen, he's been there for several laps, so he's going down laps, where Mark Martin is coming in, making a stop, going back out, so he's not losing laps. So Allen he has a rear end problem, and he may have to go behind the wall.
Taking a look at cars out of the race, Harry Gant was the first out, then Derek Cope. Mickey Gibbs knocked out of the race. D.K. Ulrich, who was starting for the first time since Richmond, back in '87 was the last time he ran. And Brett Bodine, Chad Little out of this event. But other than that, it's incredible the number of cars that finish these Winston Cup races. And I would point out that Harry Gant is not out of this race. Harry Gant in car number 12, taking over for Hut Strickland, is being shown by scoring. Now in 5th position overall. Those rundowns, they have now added him into that lead lap, and he has not gone a lead lap down. I think Neil was remarking some time ago that car was really flying out here. Well, indeed it is, and it is among the leaders. So What a good moment. You can see the back end rumpled up like a short track car here after a good, strong Saturday night. And Harry Gant, driving for the great Bobby Allison, is a factor in this race.
Yes. He's really making a move with the car. It's good for Bobby and everyone.
The Winston Cup Championship for the world of stock car races. Hard to know if we're going to get a decision here or not today. Mark Martin's efforts in jeopardy. Let's go down to Mark Pfister, who's down in the crowd here as we're still under caution cleaning up this serious crash in turn 3.
Well, actually, I'm not in the crowd. I'm below the crowd, and we're cleaning up down here. Believe it or not, there are about 2,500 pounds of aluminum cans that'll be dropped on the ground here. And here they come during the race. And 30 cents a pound, these nonprofit organizations that pick these up can make a good piece of money by the end of the race. And they're pouring down from right above my head right now. I think it's in my contract here that I've got to pick up a couple of bags of these. That way I get to fly back home.
And Mark's mother said he'd never amount to anything. Congratulations, Mark. We found a job you do well, man. I'll be right out there to help you.
Thank you very much, Johnny. I think a couple of more bags, I might be able to afford to take you out to dinner and buy some more food for Neil's catfish ponds.
Mark, would you like to borrow one of my old helmets? I believe you need one.
10 laps under caution thus far after the worst crash of the day has happened in turn number 3, and it has taken the Chad Little car out of competition, put him in the infield care center. It has destroyed the hopes of Alan Kowicki today. They continue to work on the back end of his car, and it's certainly messed up Ken Schrader's day. Take a look at the right front of his car. Here's Chris Economy.
This is the third installment of this pit stop. You can see they're chopping away at the right front corner. Last time out, he drove over the hose. Now that's a no-no. Whether or not the inspectors saw that and will levy a penalty, I don't know. But there goes the strap. He's going out again, and he'll be back another time for more work on this car.
Yeah, they've knocked the area loose on the front there. They put those bungee cords up under the spoiler, holding the hood and all of it together. So hopefully that's some 200-mile-an-hour bungee cord. They would do 150 down here, would be enough.
Ken Schrader got to finish this one out, but it's going to be a long way to go and a hard travel. Look forward to Dover coming up on the 16th, and Martinsville the 23rd, North Wilkesboro, and we'll be back with you from the Great Charlotte Motor Speedway, October the 7th, a Sunday afternoon, live here on TBS. Here's Schrader back in again.
Ken, while Mark Pfister was scavenging soda cans out behind the grandstand, the teams are doing much the same thing along pit road. But it's not cans they're looking for, it's scuffed tires. Someday, tires that have a few laps on them that have been scuffed in work better than sticker tires, brand new tires. So the instant that Brett Modine was out of the race, the Vultures were down to his pit. Darrell Waltrip's team bought a set of scuffed tires off of Larry McReynolds, took them back up to the 17 pit, and we'll see a bit of that as the afternoon goes on.
Let's look again at what has brought out the lengthiest caution of the day here at Richmond International Raceway.
Going down the corner, and we'll get the shot here. We've already see the 26 sideways. He gets up into the 6, he gives the 19 car a shot, and he's going for a ride then. Boy, he really got into that wall.
You know, and that's one of those situations, that's just real tight racing. Somebody just lifts a little bit. You're running so close and you're so fast. I mean, it's nobody's real fault. Everybody's just running it tight, and that's part of the game.
Let's go to Chris McClure.
Mark Martin came in 8 times, going back around, trying not to lose a lap. Robin Pemberton, you changed tires, you made all the adjustments on the toe. A lot of different work. Did you get everything done you wanted to?
Yeah, it's pretty close right now. The toe was probably knocked out. It's towed out about 1.5 or 2 inches, and you normally only run a 1/8 inch of toe out. We're going to try this, see what happens. You might get a chance later to work on it some more.
You had a close call with your arm the first time he came in. Did he surprise you?
No. No word usual.
Did you see
We're
voice?
all set.
Did you hear his voice go up 3 octaves? No, it didn't.
He was trying to act like it wasn't a surprise. But
Yeah,
I
it
think
scared
got
him.
his attention.
Scared him good. Yeah, I could tell by that voice.
Green this time by. Back to racing with Earnhardt in front, Wallace in second, Shepard in third, Ricky Rudd in fourth, Harry Gant in the Bobby Allison Ray Bestis car in fifth, Bill Elliott in sixth, Kyle Petty seventh, Trickle eighth, Ernie Irvin ninth, Darrell Waltrip 10th.
Boy, the 27 car didn't come up to speed, and it really backed everybody up. Rusty Wallace looked like he had trouble getting up to speed.
15 cars in the lead lap, and jumping way out in front is Earnhardt as Wallace slipped back on that start, and he's still having trouble with a handle as he comes out of turn number 4. He had to take a double shot on the steering wheel to hold her down. Meanwhile, moving to the inside, it's Morgan Shepherd flying up through traffic, and he's going to go to second place. Number 15, Morgan Shepherd for second.
Morgan has just plugged away it all day long and stayed right there in the hunt.
And number 5, Ricky Rudd goes up for fourth.
And every lap they run is a caution looking for a place to happen. I mean, they're hitting in every turn, getting close to each other. They're just lucky to dodge a bullet. Kowicki's running at very slow speed at the back of the pack, so I think he has serious problems with his car.
The 94 you saw in the picture there, Sterling Marlin. Sterling is being shown 19th, and he is 2 laps down. Sunoco car there on the bottom of the screen. Now there is Harry Gant driving that car number 12. He is running. Gant in the 6th position. Elliott should be in there with him, and then 66 Trickle. You see Elliott up on the outside and Trickle down to the inside as they fight it out further back in the field. Here's Elliott in the 9 car working on the outside of the 66, and Harry Gant in the 12. He's working up just in front of them on the outside. Tight traffic here at lap 262. 10th place, number 17, Waltrip.
3 abreast in the front straightaway. Something's got to give right down here in this area.
Ernie Irvan in the middle.
Bill Elliott was smart enough to pull up and let him back in.
Don't want to get messed up in that. Here's the 4 car on the outside, Ernie Irvan, running in 9th position. See that Bill Elliott car right there. He had Elliott has moved. Getting hit was number 4. Pretty solid shot by Sterling Marlin. He picks it up and keeps going.
And there's Sterling shaking his finger back there at him, or his hand, whatever.
I'm telling you, they're close.
Yeah. Boy, after these restarts, when everybody's got fresh tires, it makes you feel awful brave. Feel like the car do what you want to do, and then they start going away, and that's when the bumping starts.
Here's the leader, Dale Earnhardt. He has drawn well out in front. Second place. Here's Alan Kowicki. That car running hurt.
Looks like a hook and ladder truck running down the road sideways. He's got the rear end about 2 foot out of line.
He's trying to make some points here and stay up in this fight. Come all the way back to 11th in the standings, and you can feel it sliding away from him here. The second place car, as we look a little further, here's the 12 car in the 66. That is the battle for 6th place. Putting a lap on Moroso in the number 20. Moroso in 18th position, 2 laps down.
They just gave Alan Kowicki the black flag, and NASCAR said that the car was too unsafe to drive. So I think we'll see Alan coming down pit road.
Here you see the 20 car, Robbie Moroso in the Crown Petroleum Igloo machine, the top rookie in the race, getting lapped. And here's that battle for 3rd. Rudd in the number 5, diving deep, gets the inside. And Morgan Shepherd in the Ford stays with the Chevrolet. Morgan Shepherd on the outside. Ricky Rudd on the inside, and it's a good go for 3rd place. Let's not forget that Kyle Petty is in 2nd. Kyle Petty has taken his Pontiac to 2nd. This is the battle for 3rd.
Well, that side by side right there. Something's got to give because one of the two is going to really use up some tires and hurt him down the road.
And as they run like that, it's a chance for Wallace to try to gather back some ground. But the Wallace car seems to be off its feed now. He's fallen back about 15 car lengths from this battle, which sees Morgan Shepherd again sustaining 3rd. And now he goes high, and here comes number 5 to the inside.
Morgan broke totally. He had to pull over to stop it. He pulled over the side and almost stopped. So something broke in his motor, I would assume.
He's lucky at the place that broke that he didn't get run over. Made a good move to the inside.
Morgan Shepherd running in 3rd place.
Going straight to the garage, so it's severe problems.
There you see Alan Kowicki's car now out of contention. back behind the wall. So the attrition begins to build and rapidly here. Kawicki now out. Morgan Shepherd falling by the wayside as Earnhardt continues to dominate at lap 273, working 273, lapping Jimmy Spencer. This car number 3, Earnhardt, with Kyle Petty now in second. Alan Kawicki walking away from a very hard day at the office.
I'll tell you, when he walks away from his office, he jumps right on the race car. He works on his own car, so he wants to get involved.
Here's Chris Economac.
Well, as you can see, Alan Kawicki is overseeing the working crew trying to repair this heavily damaged number 7 Xerox Ford. As soon as he gets through talking to the inspectors, we'll have a word with Alan as to what happened and what his chances are.
Chris, we got a big
Alan?
spin. Chris had a spin down the main straightaway.
Oh, boy, we've got action here. Spin the main straightaway.
Wilson.
Now, what kind of shape is your car? Well, we got to wait to get his helmet off here. You can see the man taking off.
We've got a spin up in turn 3 as well. A second car has gone down. Wilson spun through the grass and was able to continue. But the number 21 car of Dale Jarrett is down on the bottom of turn number 3, and it will bring out still another caution. This happening as they complete lap 275. It is the 8th caution of the day, as Dale Jarrett, who gave a remarkable performance in the Grand National race yesterday, has his problems with the Wood Brothers car this afternoon.
Robbie Moroso just went by with the fender knocked off, so I think that probably had something to do with it. Yeah, there's Robbie.
There's Moroso's number 20 grinding it down in the wall, and a hard sock for number 21.
Man, that was a lick. They got together coming off 2 after they got straightened up off 2, and once they got hit it that way, there was no stopping it.
You could see Robbie's car almost go airborne.
We need to look at that number again, thank you. That car number 20 up on the outside, using up the concrete. And then to the inside, you saw the old-fashioned steel wall, and we might reflect on those barriers for just a moment as car number 20, here's number 3, Earnhardt pitting, getting his car in for service. He had built up about a 20-car length advantage over Kyle Petty in second spot. Pit road is open. They're all coming in. Moroso, the leading rookie candidate, he's on pit road. Let's look again at what happened here.
They're coming off the second turn that we've talked about all day. They're pretty well on the straightaway. Looks like Moroso and Dale Jarrett got together about a quarter of the way down the back straightaway, and it sent Dale flying to the inside. And that's quite a shot on the inside.
And also, if you look closely, you see a yellow car. The 4 car may have been the one that touched Moroso first. You can see, I think it.
See the skid marks right up to the old-fashioned walls. That used to be the high state of fashion, and that's the one that Neil Bonnet remembers well, that kind of fence. That's the kind of thing he just planted a car through, impaled it in that stuff, and stopped dead about 4 feet from 110 miles an hour. We'll be back to talk more about these barriers while we have this lengthy caution in a moment.
Welcome back to Richmond as we work the 8th caution flag of the afternoon as they're literally trying to knock the house down here at Richmond International Raceway. When Dale Earnhardt took off on that last restart, I thought we'd see some quick laps and an indication of just how quick he would run today. But with the track getting a little greasy, the best Earnhardt could do in those opening laps under green, 23:07 seconds, which the Timex speed track converts to 117 miles an hour. Still not as quick as Ernie Irvan in the early stages of the race. 118.22 remains the quickest lap of the race so far. And for a couple of guys who have knocked some heads against the wall in their time, let's go back upstairs.
279 laps are complete. Thank you, Mike. Let's take a look at those walls that those drivers were facing down the back straightaway, because here's a pretty good view of how much racing has changed. And Neil Bonnet can speak to it better than anyone. He has been a wall tester of major proportion.
Well, thank you, Ken.
But here particularly, that steel wall was one that collected you several years ago, and you certainly have tasted the concrete a few times. How do you feel about those concrete walls and steel walls as we get ready to
There's a pro and con, Ken. I know that the concrete wall is better. Just like this wall here we're looking at took a lot worse shot right there. The car hit there. The wall is virtually undamaged. It really destroys the race car. In turn, after it hit this wall, went across to the inside of the racetrack.
Second car, the 21 car.
Went across to the inside of the racetrack. Here's the problem you get into. When you see this wall here, that ribbon of asphalt, ribbon of rail that's laying on the ground, there's the possibility of that getting inside of the race car. When you hit the concrete, you might fly some dust around. But if that ribbon got inside of the race car, it could do severe damage to the driver. I've had it laying right in my face before.
And people always say, gee, concrete, that sounds so brutal, so very hard. Not the case.
No, I mean, I don't doubt that the injury might be worse initially on the concrete wall, but you've also got to retain these cars inside of these racetracks. We can't flirt with letting them get outside in these grandstands, and that's one of the big concerns.
And we have a red flag condition because there are at least 4 guardrails that are torn up in the back straightaway here, and that's another reason why these things aren't very effective.
That's exactly the reason, one of the main changes we went to, shutting these races down to do work that doesn't need to be done.
Let's go to Chris Economy.
Well, Alan Kowicki here just got a break with the red flag being displayed. Alan, I can understand the look of dismay on your face. The car's torn up pretty badly. You're one of the 4 owner drivers in the race. What does an accident like this mean in dollars and cents to someone like yourself?
This owner driver has nothing to do with it. We're here to win races. We had one of the best cars here. The 04 Thunderbird was running good. You know, the caution flags fell at the wrong time for us, and we got a lap down. We made it up. We were coming back to the front, and a couple of guys just ran into each other. I mean, it was trouble just waiting to happen, and somebody went in the 3rd turn and ran into Mark Martin. Started a big wreck, and we just got swept up into it. You know, the cost to fix this car is not that serious compared to what we lost here. We're here to try to win.
Can you get this thing back in the race?
Well, I mean, the rear end housing's really bent in the car. I don't know. We're doing the best we can, but I honestly don't know what we're going to be able to do with it.
Okay, tough break for Alan Kowicki.
Looks to me like Johnny Hayes called that shot. He sort of got a wreck looking for a place to happen, and that's exactly where it did happen.
And again, it was on one of those restart situations. They hadn't run that many laps since the last caution period, and they were caught up in another one here. They went 4 laps green before they had this situation develop in the back straightaway going into turn number 3. I can update you on Chad Little. The story on car number 19, Chad Little, has been transferred to the St. Mary's Hospital here in Richmond, Virginia, with a possible concussion and an ankle injury. That is the latest update we have on the condition of the driver who went head-on into the wall in the turn 3 area in the incident preceding this action out in turn 3.
One thing that hurts in these wrecks like this is these cars are built to, there's big roll bar loops out there in the front of the car to protect the radiator and the oil cooler from minor bumps. Deals like we saw Rusty Wallace, something happened earlier. And that with that structure out there that far, there's no crush area. When you hit the wall, you don't just bend the fender, you hit the main structure of the frame. And then when you see one roll back, just like Chad Little's car was, push back into 2 foot, he's took quite a lift.
There's the race summary as they show 281 laps complete, and we are under red with all the cars brought to a halt down in the turn 1 and 2 area. The average speed staying at 92 miles an hour, which is under the race record of 95.7, and it takes a real shot here, these last laps under caution. Now the red period coming up would not be a counting period until they go back to turning wheels. Davey Allison set the record on this track, and here's the work continuing on the barrier on the inside of turn 2.
And here's what made the little dent in the barrier. It was a big old race car headed in that direction. Coming in there totally out of Dale's hands after that. When you get bumped outside, you're going in there. The car hit. That section there was when it knocked that rail out, luckily backed into it with the car.
So the field is at rest for the moment here at Richmond in our live coverage on TBS today of the Richmond 400. 281 laps down with Wallace now the leader. We are in a red condition here at the Richmond International Raceway, brought about after a crash in the back straightaway that took out Robbie Moroso and the car of Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett's car crashing into the inside retainer, a steel retaining wall that has to have some posts replaced before they can continue. The car, number 21, the Wood Brothers car, badly damaged in that incident. The rest of the field lies down in turns 1 and 2 under red. Cooler security. Let's go to Chris McClure on pit road.
Quiet down here, of course, and there was a team meeting just a moment ago with Rusty Wallace's crew. Barry Dodson is the crew chief. First of all, you didn't come in under the yellow before the red flew, so I assume that means that you'd have to plan another pit stop at this point.
Right now, we got one planned. You know, we got 119 laps left. We couldn't quite make it on fuel. The tires were good, so there was really no need to come in and get in all that traffic. Some of them thought they could make it that were in the back and hadn't been up front all day. It appears that Dale thinks he can make it. We'll just have to see.
early on there was a touch and you had to do a little bit of repair on the left front. You decided to leave the tire on, and it was the right decision as it turned out. Has there been any problem or any indication since then?
Everything's been fine. A chassis change, with the weather all day. But our Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac's running well, and we're hoping for the best here.
Does the red flag help or hurt, given your position?
It helped us because they kept running under caution, and that helps those guys' mileage. What we need right now is the thing to go 50 or 60 laps green, then get a caution. Those guys that think they can make it on fuel stay out, and then we'll have fresh tires. It's a chess game.
On the last restart, one last question if I could. The last restart, it looked like Rusty might have had a problem getting the throttle down or getting full response from the car. Was there a hesitation there?
Well, what it is to build up on the tires. These radials pick up everything around. They got such a good grip to the racetrack, and it just took a lap or two to get going. We've made him aware of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Story from Barry Dotson on the 1987 winner of this event, or rather on the 1989 winner of this event, Rusty Wallace. And he currently is being shown there. You see the 3 car, which is running 4th in the field as we get set to go back to green here, hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Reviewing for you, you see Richard Petty's number 43 up there. Richard's car is being shown 24th overall as they continue to work on that fence, replacing those posts and welding it back together up in with turn 3 or just at the end of the back straightaway here at Richmond International Raceway. 2 cars crashing, one into the outside wall, Moroso, and the number 21 car also in trouble.
Here's Marcus hopping around on one foot bringing Earnhardt a drink. You think they could get a little healthier waiter out there, don't you?
Dale Earnhardt's number 3 down there on the inside. Dale has won 7 races compared to Mark Martin's 2, yet the 3-time Winston Cup champion is number 2 in points. Bob Barsha takes a look at his season thus far.
They call Dale Earnhardt the Dominator, and he has certainly lived up to the nickname in 1990. The Kannapolis, North Carolina superstar leads the Winston Cup Series with 7 victories, 5 more than any other driver. And who can forget the Daytona 500 in February, where Dale ran away from the field to the last corner, where a flat tire snatched away a certain win. The 3-time series champ rallied with victories at Atlanta, Michigan, and the Midsummer Daytona Classic, as well as 2 wins apiece at Talladega and Darlington. But Earnhardt has suffered mechanical failure en route to 12 top 5 and 16 top 10 finishes. He enters today's race 26 points behind series leader Mark Martin. How do things stack up for the Dominator?
It's going to be a tough one.
There's been a red flag condition here at the Richmond International Raceway, brought about when 2 cars crashed in the back straightaway and the Dale Jarrett car collected the inside steel wall. It bent 4 posts. They have to be replaced, and then the rest of it has to be welded back together, hence the delay in the race. And we've had a report that Chad Little may have suffered a concussion and a broken ankle from a previous incident here this afternoon. To date, there have been a total of 8 cautions in this race, and they are building up. As Neil Bonnet talked a few moments ago, as we watch some of the drivers down there, you can see another one of the hobblers there. Here's from his own camera on his own car, Dick Trickle, the driver of the number 66, hobnobbing with some of his pals out there. You see Mark Martin standing alongside, and they're all talking about how the racetrack is working, and Davey Allison. What do you guys talk about?
That's a little bench racing right there. These guys are telling what's happening. I see Mark telling the back end's kicking out on this car, and they're right now just, that's relaxing. This is one sport you don't like to have a timeout. When you're in that car running along, you want to keep running. Right now, they're just killing time to get back in and get going again.
Let's go to Mike Jarrett.
Ken standing next to me is the fellow we have to thank for this little halftime break. Though certainly not of his desire, but partly of his making. Darrell Waltrip for 8 weeks has been saying, I wish it was in that race car. Neil Bonnet's been saying, I wish it was in that race car. He's been sitting up on top, and he saw you take that look. And I know he doesn't wish he was in the race car. What happened there, Dale?
Well, the Citgo Ford had been running pretty good, and unfortunately, I was up on the outside of Rob Moroso there, and I thought that Rob saw me. I'd backed off a couple of other times, and as you can see, the car spinning. He pinched me into the wall, and he got into the wall, and then I took an awfully hard lick into the guardrail there. And I guess it tore part of the guardrail down. I don't know. I was so mad I didn't take a look at that. I really wasn't concerned with that. It was a shame because we weren't running bad, especially the car was good after about 40 laps. You know, it wasn't that we were picking up. We just weren't slowing down any. And, you know, it really, the car was working good, and we really thought that we would have a good shot there of getting our lap back and if it would go green for a while. But, you know, unfortunately, it wasn't our day.
All right, irresistible force meets a slightly movable object there. We saw the damage to the rail. How's your race car?
The race car's worse than the rail is. You know, they can fix that here. We can't fix the Citgo Ford here, so we'll just have to get it fixed and be at Dover next weekend. You know, it's a real shame. You know, the car has been running well, and at a number of places we don't have the finishes to show what we've really done. And just circumstances, and it's been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Not saying that everything's you know, been someone else's fault, because I've made my mistakes too. But you know, I feel like that we're growing as a team, and hopefully we can get this thing turned around. You know, the Wood brothers are used to running up front and being in victory lane, and that's what I want to help them do.
You took a harder shot than probably any NFL lineman will today, but does your neck feel a little longer, or is this just part of the deal?
This is just part of it. I try to stay in good enough shape that something like that won't bother me. And, you know, I may be a little sore in the morning, but I'll be okay and ready to go for 500 miles next week at Dover.
Okay, glad you're okay. Dale Jarrett out of the race under this red flag situation. We'll be back to Richmond International Raceway and the Richmond 400 right after these messages. To help him try and pad that very slim margin over Dale Earnhardt. A few minutes from now, we'll be ready to go back to green. The drivers get a little bit of a welcome break. So do the pit crews, and we'll check upstairs with our resident experts, Johnny Hayes and Neil Bonnet, and see what their thoughts are about this point chase at this juncture in the race. Each driver has led. Earnhardt's on his way to that 5-point bonus for leading the most laps. Both drivers are saying they don't think about this. Well, what about it, fellas? Do you get a chance to sit back and count points in a situation like this, or are you just thinking about how you're going to win this race?
Ken, I tell you, the way the competition is right now, to even worry about having a chance to make points, you have to worry about being able to win the race and being able to run up front. So I think you hear these guys say, well, I'm going out, I'm going to try to win the race, and the points will fall where they may. There's not very much difference in running up front and leading the race. Just a fine line there, and you might as well go for the win, because when you talk about Earnhardt and Mark Martin, these guys, those cars are so bulletproof with the type of equipment that they have that they can run them hard all day, and they got a good chance of making it.
Well, here at Richmond, they have just announced drivers to your cars, so we're getting ready to get back into a race condition here at RIR, Richmond International Raceway, showing 281 laps complete as we get set to turn this one loose once again. All drivers to your cars is the announcement that's being made by track announcer Sammy Bland at the present time. So they clamber back in and get set to go once again. And again, the issue is taking those first 8 or 9 laps and knowing that car is going to feel considerably different than the last time you were in it.
Yep, and not a whole lot of fun climbing back in that old wet, mushy seat that you just got out of a while ago, and it's cooled down a little bit.
After years of living in his father's shadow, Kyle Petty has focused his energy toward his racing with the Felix Sabattis team, and it's paid off. Bob Barsher reports.
No other family is as steeped in stock car tradition as the Pettys. Grandfather Lee won his first race 30 years ago and went on to 3 Winston Cup titles. Father, King Richard, set an untouchable mark of 200 victories and 7 national crowns. Yet despite this legacy, Mom Linda preferred that her son Kyle choose something safe. She was convinced he would become a pharmacist.
I said, just because your dad drives a race car and your granddad drove a race car, you don't have to drive a race car. And he looked right straight at me. He said, I want to try to drive a race car. I think I can do it, and I want to do it.
And he did it in 1979, racing for Petty Enterprises, before moving on to the Wood brothers in 1985. At the same time, Kyle pursued other interests, a Nashville singing career, and outside business deals.
And, you know, one day you'd have a good week in music, and that would be on the top of your list. The next week you'd sell a bunch of cars, and that would be on the top of your list. Then you'd run good in a race, and you'd say, yeah, I'm a race car driver this week. So it was like, you know, you were juggling, trying to figure out where you were at.
1989 was Kyle's first season with car owner Felix Sabattis and crew chief Gary Nelson. It was a learning year at the School of Hard Knocks. People began to question Kyle's dedication to racing, and eventually he did too. His conclusion? To put the music and the dealerships on the back burner.
I think what it is, I think you just finally grow up. It's basically what it amounts to. You finally get to a point where you say, hey, you know, I got to do this, or I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it as a hobby, or I'm going to do it serious.
The most striking result of Kyle's newfound dedication came at Rockingham, North Carolina, where he won the pole, the race, and dominated every lap. Kyle enters today's race among the top 10 in points. His recent choice to concentrate on racing is supported by the same two people who helped him become a driver.
One thing about my mother and father is, with my sisters, with myself, they never forced anything on us. They never said, you've got to take piano lessons, you got to do this, you got to go to school. You know, it was always, hey, if you don't want to go to college, you don't have to go to college. You know, just tell us what you want to do, we'll help you in that direction.
At 30 years of age, if the genes run true to form, Kyle still has 20 good years of racing ahead. He hopes Papa will watch, take notes, and maybe one day give him a call.
I think it's a combination of showing him that I'm serious, of showing the race people that I'm serious, and showing the people that had the faith in me to put me in the car to begin with, and the sponsors that are behind me, that, hey, you know, so he's messed around and jacked around for 5 or 6 years or 8 years or whatever, but now he's buckling down, and maybe our investment will begin to pay off.
Kyle Petty's number 42 lies 5th on the field, and we're very close to resumption here after we've had to delay to repair part of the fence penetrated by the Wood Brothers number 21, being driven by Dale Jarrett. 3,500 pounds of race car, taking 4 posts out of the ground, having to be not only replaced, but the other materials there repaired, some welding done. We're just about ready to turn them loose. They've got it fixed up as best possible to get this race going another time. Let's go to Mike Joe.
Ken, Kyle Petty comes in here 8th in the Winston Cup point standings. Let's take a look at the gentleman ahead of them and what would happen if this race were over right now. It's not. We're going back to green in just a minute. But Mark Martin, the point leader, is currently 8th. Dale Earnhardt is 4th. There's 20 points between those two spots, plus Earnhardt's led the most laps. If the race were to finish in this order, Mark Martin would carry just a 1-point lead to Dover Downs. Jeff Bodine 9th in the race. Rusty Wallace the leader. There would be no flip-flop in those positions. Bill Elliott, unless he improves on 10th, could lose 5th place in the point standings to Ricky Rudd this afternoon. But the engines have fired. We're just about set to go back to racing, so let's go back upstairs.
And we won't forget that Morgan Shepherd is in 7th place coming into today's race. Morgan was running just 34 points behind Ricky Rudd. The way Morgan's been tracing out some laps for a while there, it looked like he was going to have a tremendous time, but that's not to be in the latest rundown. Morgan's problems, car number 15, have set him back. So, as things stand, the field rolls out. It'll be interesting to see what those standings are after they get through Dover. 500-mile test on that mile track, one in which Shepherd does pretty well. Let's go to Chris McClure.
Alan Kowicki pacing a little bit beside his car. Now, under the red flag, they weren't able to accomplish the repairs, Alan, but I think he got a little closer to ready to make a quick switch.
Well, it bent the rear end housing in the car. We've got another one ready to go, and we're going to make a best attempt to put another housing in and get back out there and run some more laps and get all the points we can get. It's really too bad. The Zurich Ford was running good. We had just made our lap up. We had a car capable of running up front and winning the race, and a couple guys got together and started a wreck in front of me, and we just got swept into it. But bad break today, but we're going to bounce back from it.
How long might this repair take? Do you have any idea what that takes?
I'd guess about 15 or 20 minutes probably, but we're going to do the best we can. We'll bounce back, and we'll be back trying again next week.
Yeah, and a part of that thing, Ken, also, is the rule with NASCAR is on a red flag, you can't work on a car. So they stood there and made sure they didn't work on it during time.
Now they're working again on car number 20, Robbie Moroso's car. From inside his car, from the Crown Petroleum car with our Igloo camera, you see the work continuing on Moroso's efforts to be Rookie of the Year after his great campaign in 1989 that gave him the Grand National Championship. Richard Petty is on pit road, right side tires on his car. Right behind him, Darrell Waltrip pitting another time.
Waltrip's just topping off on fuel. Evidently, with these guys topping the fuel up, they're going to try to go the rest of the way. Some of them are going to see if they can go the distance. And Darrell's certainly been one of the teams that can go a long way on a tank of fuel.
There's the number 17 just rolling out as Richard Petty also wheels back onto the speedway. Number 94, Sterling Marlin, is back and rolling once again. Charlie Glotzbach has pitted. Still on pit road is Dave Marcus, and they're going inside his car to make some adjustments on number 71, and the hood remains up on car number 75, Rick Wilson, the Bartow, Florida campaigner.
Looks like they're pumping some water into the radiator. They got a high pressure tank over here, and they pump water in the radiator, cooling it down.
So now we've got a whole new race. We've got about 120 laps to go here, 118 laps remaining this afternoon at Richmond. $430,000 is what they're trying to divvy up out here. Bill Elliott is pitting, and for the moment, Rusty Wallace has the lion's share, with Harry Gant now showing in second after the pit stops. After we got this race back from a red condition, Harry Gant gets himself to second place. What a great day for Bobby Allison and company. Ray Besta's car. Then comes Schrader in third, Earnhardt in fourth, Kyle Petty in fifth, Ricky Rudd in sixth, Trickle seventh, eighth, Mark Martin, followed by Jeff Bodine ninth. Bill Elliott rounds out the top 10. 11th is Ernie Irvan. Darrell Waltrip is 12th. Showing 13th is Bobby Hillen, and those are the cars in the lead lap. One lap down is Rick Wilson 14th, Michael Waltrip in 15th, and Davey Allison 16th. Davey is 2 laps down. Get some heat back in the fabric on these tires and give us a go. 1 lap and they will be racing.
We heard him talking earlier with Rusty about Rusty's car with the rubber buildup. As you run around slow like this, when they shut those tires down, the operating temperature was 220, 240 degrees, and it actually sticks to those tires. It's like bubble gum stuck all over them, or chewing gum, and it's going to take a lap or two to get that stuff off where they go running.
Car number 4 on pit road. Ernie Irvan's crew, Tony Glover, says that they figure with the fuel they just put on, they can go the rest of the way. How do you feel about that, Neil? We're at 284.
They can, there's a point, we looked at Ken Schrader, the first race, at 123 laps, I believe. And here they are topping off Ernie, so they're going to try to make it.
You know what I love about it? They're assuming there's not going to be another caution. Why do I feel like there probably will be some more cautions the way these guys are racing today?
You always plan for the worst and hope for the best, or is it vice versa, one way or the other?
It's planning.
285 down. 400 laps the distance. Jumping out in front, Rusty Wallace. Pontiac in first, Buick of Harry Gant in second. Buick the way things are. Chevrolet's running third and fourth, Pontiac fifth. In the back straightaway and into turn 3. Beat and bang coming down in the main straightaway, and number 12 backs up as they come across the line. Falling back is Harry Gant by about 3 positions as he and Schrader got together in turn 4. Here's the 66 car, Dick Trickle, maintaining that 7th spot, and right outside is Harry Gant.
They posted a 94 car to come down pit road because he passed illegally on the left side, so Sterling Marlin's going to have to come down pit road and stop.
Remember that he is a lap down.
And also there goes Davey Allison just got around Rusty, and Dale went along with him. Davey's back, got a lap back, and Dale is now in the lead right lap.
Car number 3, Earnhardt for the lead. And making up a lap is Davey Allison in car number 28, which puts 14 cars back in the lead lap. Sterling Marlin is on pit road. There's the 27 car, Wallace, now being shown in 2nd spot. Very quick stop and go on car number 94 for that penalty, and he's back underway. Now you see that 28 there? That's made up his lap. Davey Allison. The 12 car has backed up some more. That 12 car back in 7th, perhaps 8th position now. And Mark Martin, remember he was a lap down. Going to make this thing interesting before the afternoon is over.
They were talking about Mark Martin's car, the toe end being out 1.5 inches. Evidently they got it pretty good because he's moving on out.
Just to confirm our thinking, gentlemen, Dale Earnhardt has a terrific advantage now because we know Rusty Wallace has to stop. Barry Dotson told us that. Richard Childress just told me that Earnhardt will go the distance. They've got enough fuel to make it.
The question would be the tires toward the end of this one, Chris. How do you feel about it now?
I'll tell you what, if Dale can get in the lead here, and right now he's having to work the car harder than he wants to, trying to get Davey back down. But if he can get in the lead and run his own pace, he's got a good chance at making it with the tires without getting too bad.
Outside line for car number 3, Earnhardt. 2:92 in the book. Wallace stays second, but creeping, crawling up through the field is coming car number 6. And here you see Kyle Petty's 42 in third.
Kyle Petty passed a bunch of cars quick to get to that spot, so I think Kyle's really strong right now.
There you see Kyle Petty in that third position. And then look back here. Here's the 5 car. Right behind him, Mark Martin. The 5 car of Rudd is 4th. Mark Martin in the number 6, 5th. Schrader is 6th. It may be beaten and battered, but it's still a contender to win it all here at Richmond this afternoon.
I'll tell you, Kyle's car's looking real good right now. He's been able to stay right with him. Matter of fact, close up on Rusty a little bit.
Kyle Petty likes Richmond like his dad likes Richmond. 7 times Richard won here. And of course, Kyle turned it around on this racetrack. Had a big crash in turn 3, but no race is a gimme. He came home victorious that day, and any race you get a checker on, you win. Now you're with 66, Dick Trickle. He's running 6. Directly in front of him, as the 66 crosses the line, is the 30 car. That Michael Waltrip car is a lap down. Schrader has slipped back a bit. He is in 7th. See Earnhardt in 1st, Wallace in 2nd, Chevrolet and Pontiac 1 and 2.
Boy, Rusty's making a good run at it.
Boy, Rusty got a great bite off of that turn. See Earnhardt pinch it right down on him.
Tries to hold him in, but there's no way. Wallace makes his own track. A couple of guys who are a great deal alike in style. Earnhardt has it for the moment on the outside and back out of 4. Wallace. Dandy race, and it gives Kyle Petty a little breathing room to pull up on him there.
Yeah, Kyle's kind of liking this one here. He's like as much as these fans seeing a good race. He's fixing to get right in the middle of it with him.
And Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin both are coming real strong too. Earnhardt was able to get around that time.
The only question I see with Mark Martin, did they get the toe in close enough? Because he is certainly making a good move coming up after him.
Look at this battle between car number 5, Ricky Rudd, and Martin in the number 6 as they continue their own affair for 4th place. Down to the inside goes Martin.
It's hard to make that turn down there where it's real tight up the corner.
Up in front, Earnhardt tries again around Wallace.
It's pretty expensive real estate. They don't want to give it up.
And Rusty's not content just to sit back there and ride. He's tried to pass him every time. He went a little high that time, and Kyle jumped right under him, so he's going to have to fight Kyle off now.
And as he does, Rudd comes ever closer for his 2nd win of the season. Car number 5, Ricky Rudd, back there in 4th. As this trio comes down out of the corner, and Martin comes to the inside on Ricky Rudd.
I would say that's our 5 lead cars in that one shot. It's going to be pretty interesting here in a minute.
Mark Martin stays right on the bottom. Counted out back at the midway point in this race. Car sustained damage, sliding sideways right there in turn 3. Looks like it might be a very long day. And now he's back within striking distance of those leaders and contesting 4th position with Ricky Rudd.
And believe it or not, the 2 of those guys running that hard have closed up on the leaders even closer. If they get sorted out, they will gain them.
Earnhardt stays up in front. There you see the front 5 coming down out of turn 4. And here comes Martin again to the bottom of the racetrack at number 6 at lap 3:02. Tap on the side of Ricky Rudd's car as he gets some distance, and Martin puts the Ford back into 4th spot. Chevy, Pontiac, Ford. Now the Ford for the manufacturers as Jimmy Spencer goes another lap down after he was in an altercation early in this event. Behind these leaders, Dick Trickle is now 6th, Ernie Irvin to 7th, Bill Elliott 8th, and Schrader falls to 9th. Jeff Bodine runs in 10th. Harry Gantz, car number 12, the Bobby Allison car, has fallen back into 11th position. For the lead another time.
That's about the best run he's had at him off of 4. See what happens then in the 1st, 2nd turn down here.
You notice they're giving each other plenty of room. They're running 2 different lines, really, and it's just whose car's working the best to get through, but there's no physical stuff going on here. Good, clean racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that. No, they're doing a great job. It's this track caters to that too. The track's plenty wound up for that, and these guys still got two-groove racetrack can give you some good racing like this.
Meanwhile, just behind these two leaders, Mark Martin is making a move. He's going to third. Tremendous battle up in front, and it is Mark Martin climbing up another spot. Martin's number 6 is into third and now closing at Ford, pulling up on the Chevy and the Pontiac in first and second place.
That's always one of the strong suits of our sport. You know, you got people pull for drivers, you got the manufacturers involved. Here's the Ford Chevrolet shootout building. We'll see what happens in the Pontiac right in the middle of it.
Richard Childress on the horn, talking to Earnhardt in number 3, who for the moment has a half-car length advantage. Live coverage here on TBS of the Richmond 400, and it's a dandy. Earnhardt stays just that far in front of number 27, Rusty Wallace, in second, and closing ground is Mark Martin. 93 laps to go. There's Kyle Petty in fourth and the 5 car, Ricky Rudd in fifth, Dick Trickle in sixth, Ernie Irvan in seventh. 13 cars remain in the lead lap.
Hey, they're like pushing each other down the straightaway. Rusty was touching Dale as they went across the start-finish line as he was pushing him, so I think he just wanted to let him know he was still here.
2 previous winners of this event, defending champion Wallace in the 27, and the 87 winner, Earnhardt, down out of 4. Everybody's shaking their head on this one.
Nobody's been able to sit down all day in these grandstands. They've been standing the whole day. Richard Childress, he's a pretty thing.
A little concern here, and for good reason. Wallace is back attacking. Trying to counter on the outside is Earnhardt, but Wallace is there.
And watch him come back, though. Watch Earnhardt come back on this outside. I don't know what it is. He'll get down that back stretch, and he'll get a shoot off there, and then he'll pass him down the straightaway. Is that a horsepower deal? What is that?
If you can handle down that straightaway, you can pretty well get them in the corners.
So that's motor.
And let's remember that this track is so different. Rough tap there. Because once you get into one, you're committed to making the circle all the way around there. It's right here, going through 1 into 2. Now you get about a 3-second breather. And when you get to turn 3, then you're in a full circle all the way back to 1. It's from 3 to 1 where you're continually working the wheel.
What I love with when two guys are arguing, one shoves the other, and there's usually a fist fight breaks out after that. So let's see if that little tap there is forgiven, and see if somebody just lets them go. But Mark Martin's sitting there getting ready to go with whoever is going to the front, I think.
And believe it or not, Mark Martin's sitting right where he needs to be. These other two guys are wearing their tires out. They're heating them up side by side. And if they get in single file, the 2 front cars, he can possibly go get right on by both of them.
The contest is for first place. Raymond Beadle, car owner, on Rusty Wallace looking on. Everybody anxious. There's a ways to go. Martin is coming to the inside. The Ford number 6. Through a dummy. Slid back in. Stays third. Earnhardt stays right up in there. Wallace coming to the outside again in that second position.
Watch him touch. That's unreal.
Well, he missed him by at least 6 inches.
Oh, yeah. No touch, no foul.
Back comes Martin on the inside, and Kawicki with newfound life, and car number 7 staying alive.
I think they changed the tire rear housing in Allen's car, and he just got out there, and he's on fresh tires.
And what's great about Allen, he wants to race.
I think Rusty can completely sideways turn off that 4th turn, and that was an opportunity for Mark Martin to stick the nose up in.
Got the nose in, but couldn't get through. Back comes Wallace another time.
I'm really impressed with how heady Mark Martin is driving his race car. He's not going to force the issue. If he can pass you clean, he will, but at this point, he doesn't want a torn-up race car. He wants his point championship, and he's not going to be pulled into a fight, I don't think.
Still a ways to run. That Chevy Lumina, that number 3 car, won 11 races in 1990 compared to 5 for the Ford Thunderbird. It's running back in 3rd as a manufacturer mark. Pontiac trying to hold its own out here and doing a great job on this 3/4-mile oval at Richmond International Raceway, the Richmond Fairgrounds. If you're just joining us, we're having this great battle right apparently to the finish. 3:17 at 400 complete with 3 different manufacturer makes and 3 drivers contesting to the finish.
I'm sure people are looking saying, why is Alan Kawicki driving it so hard, and what is he doing up there? He's testing his car for the future, number one. Number two, he wants to prove to these guys, hey, I could have beaten you if I hadn't had this problem.
Well, he's running good enough to be right in there with him, but the one thing that determines how well you run is the number of laps on your tires, and I think he's probably got a little bit fresher tires than the other guys right now. His car's certainly fast all day long.
.320 this time by. Owners looking on. You see Childress. And you see Raymond Beadle. Where Jack Roush is in all of this. Probably plotting and calculating more horsepower for Dover.
Yeah, he's probably sitting in front of a calculator. Computer.
It's nice to have people like Jack Roush in the sport that he's got so many employees working on things, and he's the one down here under the hood doing the physical work on Mark Martin's car, and does a great job with it.
Jack Roush just plain likes to race.
Better than that can be, likes to win. That's what all of these guys, Childress, Raymond Beadle, coming out of the drag racing, winning is born in them, and they want to pass it on and see if they can get these cars just be the dominant factors in the sport.
They're the leaders. Putting a lap on Rick Wilson in the 75. Further back, Dick Trickle, broken leg and all, picks up another spot. He's into 5th. Kyle Petty falling to 6th with a 42 points. That Trop Arctic number 66 is having a day. The capable hands of Trickle. And the battle up in front. They wheel it around again. Wallace taking a shot on the inside that time on car number 3.
Looks like instant replay every time off the 3rd, 4th turn. They just keep hounding each other to death. They want to rest.
NASCAR just sent a message to Alan Kawicki's crew chief and told him to get out of that race and let these people race. You're down far enough, so don't mess these people up. So Alan pulled down and let them go.
Well, I think it did interfere with Mark Martin a little bit. He was right on the back bumper, and he lost a little bit of ground. Let's see if he can close it back up.
Charlie Glotzbach's number 90 going a lap down to the 2 leaders.
It's great to see old Charging Charlie back. That was one of my heroes when I was in high school.
He's a racer, and he gets
I'm
after
telling
him.
you, I love it.
What do you mean in high school?
Charlie must be 74, 75 or something. I don't know. He's been around forever.
When this race is over, you're going to have 74 left.
Oh, Indiana boy, he can still get it done.
Georgetown, Indiana. Rusty Wallace, line 2nd to Dale Earnhardt. Rusty, what's the race strategy for this one?
This track, I try to stay ahead. I don't like to get back and race guys side by side. When that happens, you're going to get in trouble. I like to get gone. I like to be way up front or back in the pack by myself, or if I'm 2nd or 3rd line. I try to stay by myself. Because whenever you get side by side, you start getting physical, somebody ends up losing every single time. And I think the thing that's really helped me here, I've had a good motor. I've had a real good motor. I've had good handling. And I've been able just to get up there and go. And I don't run a weird line going into turn 1 like a lot of guys do. I run a pretty conservative straight line. I don't stay way out, arcing in there. A lot of guys do that and they have it spinning out. That might not be the fastest way around, but that's the safest way around.
I want to point out that recording was made 2 days ago, and you can see that he's changed the strategy a little out here. That's Rusty Wallace, who one time told me that the finish of a race, he wants to come off turn 4 on that final lap with the tires on fire.
Well, he might get that opportunity if he stays right where he's at. It's going to take all 8 of those are going to be on fire, those 2 first cars, if they're mixing it up like that at the end.
Point out again that the car of Mark Martin is right there trailing by just 6 car lengths. And here comes Wallace back on the inside. You can't let go of this one. This is such a great fight. Wallace and Earnhardt.
And you saw Earnhardt's car shook a little bit that time. It got a little bit loose, so he said, okay, I'll let him by. And then right as Rusty relaxes and said, I've got him cleared, he jumps back under. So these guys enjoy this. This is racing. They're both having a ball where it scares me to death, but they enjoy it, don't they, Neil?
Yeah, this is the part when you're back there running 10th and everybody says it's not any fun. This deal right here, this is when a guy enjoys it. When the car's good enough, he's got the potential to win the race and do anything in that driver's seat he's trying to do it.
Just shows you how good a racetrack we have here. We always have this great competition. We've got those three cars right on top of each other after 331 laps fighting for this thing, and they're just all over each other.
It's all up in front. Battle is for the lead. Wallace leads. Earnhardt is now second, and Mark Martin is third. Stay with us. Ought to be fun. Back with you, Dick Trickle, currently running in fifth, giving these pictures down the main straightaway. Up in front, the battle continues to be waged between three manufacturer makes, and at this moment, Mark Martin is challenging Dale Earnhardt. Here's the fight. Second place, and they're going after first, and there's something wrong on Wallace's number 27 as they scoot into the corner. You can see them making some ground, and Wallace in the 27. Unbelievable situation for just a moment. He's able to gather it back up and keep going. Here he comes down the main straightaway, and he's all right, but for just a second, back to that second place battle. And here you see the 6 car and the 3 still side by side. Mark Martin in the 6 on the inside, and Earnhardt in number 3 alongside. Martin making some room and getting there. Here comes Earnhardt back.
Watch him lean on him.
First and second for the points. 6 car leading by 26 points coming in, and what a fight this one is. This is for second.
I think they have the same strategy as Winston, not race side by side. These guys are mixing it up.
Oops. They touched again.
Drawing away for the moment.
Watch Earnhardt shoot under him. Let it drift up, touch.
Not quite. Just missed it.
Needed another coat of paint.
Earnhardt will dive it down into that turn and let it come back up. Going in 1 and 2, he's coming off 4 there, but when he shoots in, he gets some kind of awesome shot going into 1.
Wallace staying in first. Second spot is Martin. Third is Earnhardt. Fourth is Ricky Rudd. Fifth is Trickle. There's the 27 car. Let's take a look at this interval.
Ken, he's going to need an interval because the way they're talking, the 27 has got to stop. Here we're looking at Earnhardt, who says he can go the distance.
And Ernie Irvin says he can go the distance, lying back there in 7th spot.
He topped off just before the caution was over, so Rusty knows he's got to stop. He's got to give him a little breathing room.
And do we know if Mark Martin can go all the way?
Good question for the pits. Somebody down there that's on pit road. There's that interval. As Rusty Wallace draws the lead on first place. Mark Martin lying second, Earnhardt third. Ricky Rudd is in fourth. Fifth spot is Trickle.
Comes Rusty down pit road.
Number 27, the leader, comes down onto the pit road in lap 347.
The key to this is going to be getting back out there.
Chris Economiki's there.
We spoke with Jack Roush, Mark Martin's partner, a little bit ago, and he said everything is ready. They have enough fuel to go the distance, so Mark Martin will not stop at the pit unless an emergency arises.
Mark Martin is now leading in the Richmond 400.
One thing in their favor, though, that was just a 10-second stop, and Rusty's going to be able to get out without going a lap down. He's still in the lead lap. That's going to be a big factor in it. And if they have a problem now, he's still in the lead lap with the caution out.
He has about a quarter of a lap in front of Mark Martin from going that lap down. Because he can make up a little time from here. Earnhardt lies in the second position, and he has fallen back some. Ken Schrader, who's been running 8th, is now pitting for the final time. He's pitting in lap 348. Mark Martin, how's this race going to compare to last February?
It's going to be from one end of the spectrum
spectrum to the other. It couldn't have been more than 25 or 30 degrees here in February, and now it's going to be 90. But, you know, we feel like we've got a good setup for the racetrack, and we hope that the Folgers Thunderbird will perform like it did in February.
Sure performing well right now. He's only led 4 or 5 laps thus far this afternoon, but we're getting down to the ones that count. 50 laps remain, 50 to go. Remember, Martin won this battle and then lost the points drastically and got fined big after the last race here at Richmond in February.
Yeah, they found out they had a motor interpretation that didn't agree with what NASCAR wanted, so they had a points penalty of 40-some points was a very
46.
important thing also. So he won the race, but he did pay the price.
Here he is up in front, trying to win again here on this 3/4 mile oval in Richmond, Virginia. Mark Martin out of Arkansas in front, and for the moment he has a good fat advantage over Dale Earnhardt with Ricky Rudd in third, Dick Trickle in fourth, Bill Elliott in fifth, Kyle Petty in sixth.
Mark's car's shown us this all day long. The consistency, even when he got a lap down because of Schrader's long run on fuel, he still had the fastest race car on the track. And I guess if I want my front end set in a hurry, I'd go see Robin Pemberton, because evidently he put that thing right back on the money, because Mark is as quick as he was all day long.
Here's the number 3 car of Earnhardt that runs in the second position. You see the interval between the number 6 here and that number 3 car that's lapping Mike Waltrip. Earnhardt running second spot. Then in third is car number 5, and that is Ricky Rudd. Martin still tries to put Mike Waltrip down another lap. Ricky Rudd lying third in the race with Dick Trickle still sustaining fourth. What a run Trickle has had today. He's almost a half lap down to the leader. Elliott's fifth, Kyle Petty is sixth, Ernie Irvan seventh, Harry Gant in eighth, Darrell Waltrip ninth, and Jeff Bodine in 10th.
Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace broke off that sensational battle a little while ago when Earnhardt backed up. He's got a handful right now. Richard Children's telling me that he's picked up a push. Still running certainly toward the front, but he's got a bigger fight on his hands than he had earlier.
Here you see Earnhardt. Thank you, Chris McClure. Follow that story. Second place car, Alan Kowicki's number 7 back in here with that new rear end, working beautifully, but many laps down. Smoke beginning to show out of Sterling Marlin's number 94 late in the going.
You can bet that bunch right there are hoping they don't see a caution flag.
Into heavy lap traffic. Jimmy Spencer there in the 57. Butch Miller in the 98. And the leader just noses on down to the bottom of the track. There you see car number 30. Michael Waltrip's car, which is running 14th, 2 laps down. Now here's number 3 Earnhardt, which is your second place car. Alan Kowicki's number 7, well down in the standings, out of the top 25. Coming by is Hillen in the number 8. He is 13th overall in this event. Hillen in the 18th, 13th, and he is followed by Greg Sachs. It's the number 18 car. Greg driving with some broken bones in his foot. He's running 21st. Here you see the car. Take a look around this racetrack. Ricky Rudd maintaining third. He's got a long way to go to catch those leaders.
I'll tell you what's surprising me, Ken, is even when Rusty pitted that time and put on 2 tires, Mark was out behind him. He's not closing very much on him.
Richard Petty's number 43 stayed in it. He is running in 24th. And on the outside, here's Dick Trickle, the 66 up on the outside, maintaining the 4th position.
Something happened to Earnhardt's car coming off that corner then. He went down in the corner and a couple of them went by.
Earnhardt's car. Here's the number 9 of Bill Elliott. That is in 5th spot. Whatever it was with the number 3, he seems to have picked it up for the moment. Continues his way around the track. Schrader in the 25, making a move on the 42 but Schrader is running 1 lap down. Schrader is being shown in 12th at this time and is 1 lap down. The 42 car is 6th in the field. Here's that 4 car that maintains 7th position. Ernie Irvan. And the Kodak Morgan McClure car. Right behind him is the 12 car, which is Harry Gant driving the Bobby Allison car. Hut Strickland came out sick early in the going. Harry Gant climbed in. He stayed in the lead lap and is 8th. Right behind him, number 17, Darrell Waltrip is 9th on the field. Back after injuries, and here's Jimmy Means, number 52, right behind the Waltrip car. Means, number 52, is being shown, I believe, at this time in 27th position.
Davey Allison just came down pit road, and Sterling Marlin has been on pit road for several laps with the hood up.
The number 27 car in the running order. Get back in this thing. Rusty Wallace on the tail end of that lead lap, and he is up there with Jeff Bodine. That was a scrap for 10th position. Here's Dave Marcus. He is staying 16th. He is 2 laps down, and about to go down another lap as Mark Martin ramrods his way through. So that's an idea where some of those other competitors are on this field with 365 laps complete in the Richmond 400, and Mark Martin closing in. 29 laps to go, 29 remaining here as TBS Sports presents live the Richmond 400. Dick Trickle giving you these pictures from the top active car, running in 4th position. Laps running down here at the finish. And here's where the battle is for the moment. 4th spot, Trickle trying to hold off Bill Elliott. The 66 Trickle, and Bill Elliott right behind him.
Elliott's really turned it up the last few laps. He's got around a few cars, making a strong move on Trickle.
The leader, Mark Martin. Big advantage now over Dale Earnhardt in number 3. 3rd place car, Ricky Rudd. 4th place, Trickle. 5th, Elliott. 6th, Kyle Petty, and 7th, Ernie Irvan. We had a report earlier that the 6th car, Martin, could run the distance and not have to pit again. Now there's another story being told that he may come in the next 2 or 3 laps. We'll see. If he does, the situation being what it is, it could very well put this all back in Dale Earnhardt's favor. Here's the interval between the 1st place car, number 6 Martin, the Ford, and the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt.
Well, I believe Mark Martin, if he can go all the way in gas, he's still passing cars, and he's running Rusty Wallace down. Here he comes. He's slowed. He's coming in right now. The 6th car is coming into pit.
Leader Mark Martin on pit road. New leader coming to the line.
Let's see if it's gas only.
Earnhardt goes into 1st.
Gas only.
Away. Dick Trickle in number 66 moves into 3rd position.
Your basic 4-second stop for gas.
That's enough to carry them home. Let's see, as they have 25 laps remaining.
I tell you, that thing just took a splash, but you gotta have it. You gotta have it. It's gonna cost Mark in the end here. Let's have a caution.
Earnhardt 1st, Rudd 2nd, Trickle 3rd, Elliott 4th, Irvan 5th, Waltrip 6th, Kyle Petty in 7th, Mark Martin now 8th.
And Earnhardt has about a 5 or 6 second lead on Rudd. He has a major lead.
Matter of fact, his lead is going to be threatened by Dick Trickle here shortly.
10 cars remain in the lead lap. 9th place is Wallace. Here is Waltrip battling Ernie Irvan. This is 5th spot. 5th spot being contested. Irvan pulling away for the moment from Darrell Waltrip on the comeback trail. Hobbled out on crutches, climbed in, and he's had a phenomenal day. And here's number 6, Mark Martin in 8th place, looking for Kyle Petty's number 42, try to pick up a spot. This will tighten those point standings incredibly.
A little while ago, the owner of Mark Martin's car, Jack Roush, told me they were 4 or 5 laps short. They did have to come in for fuel, they were sure. Time stopped. They're pretty sure they got enough in. They came in a little earlier than they absolutely had to give him some time to run back at the front before the race was over. Meantime, the pit next door, that of Dale Earnhardt, Richard Childress, again emphasizing, we're not coming in. We've got enough fuel to go the distance.
Ken, it hasn't been long since Earnhardt. We used to get some of the worst gas mileage at all the tracks. He would be one of the first guys in. Richard Childress and his engine men went on a severe program trying to develop fuel mileage, and Dale has been getting as good a mileage or better than most people at the races lately.
Neil, all but unnoticed in this is the performance of Bill Elliott today. We saw him a bit ago chasing Dick Trickle. Elliott, much has been made of his inability to win so far this year. He's had only 2 top 10 finishes on short tracks this season, and he's running a fine 4th right now. There's a look at Elliott, and he's really had a great day today.
Elliott now beginning to feel some pressure. Elliott running 4th, and Mark Martin has cleared out some of the competition, and he's ready to go after Elliott. 387 laps complete, and look at this battle for second place. Here comes Dick Trickle to the inside at number 66. On the outside, it is the car number 5. Ricky Rudd slides back around the outside, and something happens to the 66. He gets collected by everyone all the way back to 4th place. Bill Elliott there, and here comes Martin down the inside. Martin going way low, gets Elliott for 4th, comes after Trickle in the 66 for 3rd. A tremendous run by Mark Martin, bottom of the racetrack. Here he is working on Dick Trickle. Back straightaway, Trickle is able to hold him off. Schrader just in front, a lap down, running in 12th position.
Trickle and Rudd had to get together for Rudd to shoot off that fast, and Trickle almost stopped. They almost had to get together.
Meanwhile, Earnhardt stays well in front. The battle is here, and it's all important for Mark Martin. There's Dick Trickle, that Trop Arctic car, holding on to 3rd spot and trying to fend off Mark Martin. 10 to go. 10 laps left. $430,000 up, and here comes that slugfest again. Number 6, Martin, the Ford is in there. So it's Chevy, 1st and 2nd, Ford now 3rd on the field. And Bill Elliott, he wheels up underneath the 66. Ford's picking up 3rd and 4th now. Dick Trickle's Pontiac falling to 5th.
Something happened to Trickle. I'm not so sure it wasn't a brake problem. I saw the car all of a sudden just dart. I've been seeing it look like smoke come off the right front rotor coming by here.
9 laps remaining. Chris McClure.
Dale Earnhardt's gas man has just brought 1 can to the wall. There's no move by the crew, Richard Childress, or any of them to go over the wall. No signal that we know of yet to Dale Earnhardt. Perhaps a precautionary measure right now. As far as we know, the intention is to go the distance.
They say the brakes on number 66 are on fire, Neil. What you were talking about, that looked like he might be having the brakes jam up.
Got lucky that time, didn't he? Good guess.
Oh, you're just good at it. 8 laps to go. Oh, he's in trouble. He's sliding. He's into the wall. Dick Trickle in number 66 grazing the wall and continues on his way. You were riding with him as he took the shot out of turn number 2, and he falls back.
No caution, so still running her down.
7 laps to go. Trickle is on the inside. Kyle Petty catches him up in number 42. Kyle moves into 7th. Trickle falls all the way to 8th. Here's number 5, Mark Martin. Or rather, number 6, Mark Martin going under 5. Ricky Rudd for 2nd spot.
And this has been a dogfight for several laps. They've really been getting after each other. This has certainly been holding number 6 car back. Oh, the 4 car in turn 4.
Spinning in turn number 4 is Ernie Irvin, and everybody's out, taking evasive action. Yellow is out.
We're set up for a shootout, boys.
Now the question is, does Earnhardt lead and get tires? If he doesn't get them, you can bet some of those guys behind him are going to jump in and get a set.
To the line, number 6, Martin coming across for 2nd spot. Yellow is out. 395 laps are complete. Track is clear. Ernie Irvin spun up in turn 4 and was able to continue running.
I'll tell you what almost happened. Dick Trickle came along and didn't have any brakes and almost got into it.
Irvin falls to the end of the lead lap. 10th spot. Leader is Earnhardt in the Chevy, and there you see Martin in 2nd place.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
1 lap and they'll turn them loose. 1 lap and they're going to turn them loose. They're tightening up now.
And let's watch these cars that are down a lap to see what factor they play in it.
Martin trying to find the hole.
He goes
Slides
all the way
up
up
to
to
the
second.
traffic. Getting him sorted out. Number 5 coming with him. Ricky Rudd wants a shot at it.
Look at these cars.
Don't think they're a little anxious out here? Take a look at this.
Looks like a World of Outlaw start, 3 wide.
And don't forget, we still got that fuel factor entered into this. So even though we have a lap of caution here, we're still questionable on some of these guys with gasoline.
And the mileage factor under caution.
It certainly helps it, but you know, they're fixing to find out how much they can twist these motors on these restarts.
Getting set on the restart. Remember that Earnhardt is your leader. Mark Martin is in second place. Ricky Rudd is in third. Field comes down. Pace car is in. Earnhardt, with one of those typical Earnhardt starts, gets an incredible jump. So Harry Gant, number 12, pulling up there, and Mark Martin caught back in that second position.
The 5 car just ran out of gas. He's up against the outside wall. There he is. He's out of gas, pulling it to the bottom.
Car number 5 falling back. Elliott going to fourth. Waltrip coming up. Elliott going to third. Waltrip going to fourth. Kyle Petty coming back to fifth. Teresa Earnhardt looking anxiously on.
This black flag, the 12 car here again. I don't know what that was about.
I think jumping out in there.
The 57 car is pushing the 5 car around each lap here to the end of the race, I would say.
Jimmy Spencer hanging right in to help somebody. He knows he hasn't got a flat chance today, but trying to keep another car in contention out here today. White flag is out. Final lap is underway. Earnhardt is in the lead. Martin is in second spot. Go down through the first and second turn for the last time. This is to decide it all. Earnhardt in the number 3, going into turn number 3. Down for the finish. Mark Martin in that second spot on the bottom of the racetrack. They are across the line, and the checker falls, and it's win number 8 of 1990 for Dale Earnhardt. Checkers fly, and Earnhardt's pulled ever closer to Mark Martin. Not by that much. Very slim. As he gets down here at the end of this one and picks up the win for his second in the Richmond 400. And up congratulating him is Mark Martin as they come to the line. We'll be back with more from Richmond in a moment. The championship battle gets closer. Chris Economaki is with a man who's making it that way.
Congratulations, Dale. You got a college education paid for?
We're working on it right now.
What a day. What a day. What was the biggest moment for you besides the checkered flag?
Well, we thank the good Lord for a safe race to start with. We was a little tight all day. I really wasn't as in good a shape as I'd like to be in, and then we were stretching the gas there at the end, and it was blubbering the last 2 laps. I just didn't know whether I was going to make it, and it ran out when we was coming around to come to Victory Lane.
You mean it's empty?
Yeah, it's empty. It's out of gas.
Hey, congrats. What about that race with Rusty Wallace? It was fabulous. Did you guys make any contact?
No, we raced pretty good there. Rusty's, he raced pretty good there today.
What'd you think when Martin went to the pits a few laps ago?
I knew I was going to stretch it.
What do you think of your daddy, my dear?
Tell him we won the race. Who?
There you go with that. Okay. Congratulations and good luck. Dale Earnhardt, the winner, on his way to another championship. And let's go to Mike Joy in the STP Pit Communications Center.
And the runner-up, a fellow who drove a hard race, Mark Martin. What did it feel like to have to swing that car down to pit road and get that last splash of gas?
No problem. I thought we'd still win the race.
You sure gave it a game try, and what a charge up through traffic. That wasn't easy. There was a tremendous amount of traffic and guys that were really running well.
Well, first of all, I want to compliment Jack Roush and Steve Mill, Robin Pemberton, and the guys. They fixed the car after it got wrecked and made it really as good as it was before. They did a great job. They're the best. We had a shot at winning this thing, even though we had to stop for gas. That was spoiled right there at the end by a lap car. But, we might not have beat him anyway. We just didn't get a chance to try.
Okay. Boy, that point battle just keeps squeezing ever tighter. Do you feel the pressure?
Well, anybody that watched this race knows that we're not stroking.
Oh.
We're out here after the thing as hard as we can go.
Great job today. Mark Martin, let's go to Chris McClure.
Well, the man lives up to promises, no question about that. Darrell Waltrip, congratulations. Great run.
Yeah, it was. My crew did great today. Thanks to Jeff and all the guys. And, man, I got to get home. I got to get to therapy in the morning. Nick and Lori and Dr. Stowers and Albert, all of you guys, thank you. I got to get a little tougher, though. I got to get first. This third was a good way to start the job, back on the job. It's not bad for first day on the job. I'm walking with a pair of crutches, but praise the Lord for a great day. And golly, can I just tell you something?
How's the leg feel?
The leg is fine. And all my friends and all my buddies and everybody I know, Max Hilton, everybody prayed that we'd have a nice, cool day, and that's why I was able to hang in there all day, because the first 75 laps, I thought I was going to give out. I was so nervous and so tense in the car, but once I relaxed, got a caution, and got that lap back, and then I knew I was in business. I felt I'd run good and finish good, and Jeff and everybody just did a good job for me, and I'm proud of my crew. They worked hard for me. Put up with a lot of one-legged man, but came through okay.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
But a giant is back. Darrell Waltrip finishing third here today as Dale Earnhardt commands all the attention in victory lane, making that battle for the championship just that much tighter.
Well, little doubt as to who's the hardest charger. The Richmond 400. Dale Earnhardt picked up 1,171 points today to pad his lead of some 6,000 in the hard charger standings. Rusty Wallace, remember, you don't get just points for 5 for leading each lap. You get 4 for second, 3 for third, 1 for fifth. Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Mark Barton, Kenny Schrader adding to those season totals. Last lap of the race, 23.67 seconds for Dale Earnhardt, 114 miles an hour. The race pace pretty well slowed up because the Timex fastest lap of the race on our speed track, Ernie Irvan, 118.2 miles per hour, takes home that award from the folks at Timex, the makers of the speed track stopwatch computer. Let's go back upstairs.
And those point standings are so much closer after this effort today. We have it as a 16-point difference between first and second spot. Remember, there's a 5-point bonus as well for leading the most laps in the race, as well as for leading a single lap. So when you put it all together, that's how it stands as they move on to Dover, Delaware, and then Martinsville, Virginia. Mark Martin still has the lead, but it is slimmer than it was earlier today. Jeff Bodine in third as we get down to the end of this one. Well, thank you all for being with us today. It's been an incredible afternoon of competition. In all, we had a total of 9 cautions before it was over. Certainly no speed records today, but our congratulations to Dale Earnhardt for his victory. Final word from you, Neil?
It was just a good old typical Richmond race, switch a lead all day, and look who turned out on top. Same guy's been winning all the races.
John?
I loved it. Earnhardt did a great job. Mark Martin did a great job. When we set the thing up, it's coming down to a shootout between these two guys. I think it was a 4-point swing after they drove themselves crazy today.
And we've heard that Chad Little, the Spokane, Washington driver, injured in turn 3, is alert and conscious at a hospital here in Richmond, Virginia. That is good news as we come to conclusion here today. So thank you for being with us this afternoon. On behalf of Chris Economaki, Chris McClure, Mike Joy down in the pits, and us up here on top today, Neil Bonnet, Johnny Hayes, I'm Ken Squire. At Richmond International Raceway for TBS, where Dale Earnhardt has done it again. Winner for the second time in the Richmond 400. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you at Charlotte, North Carolina, coming up October the 7th.